It was great. I mean, it was absolutely great, and thank you so much, Digital, because you made us all look much better than we actually and normally do last night, and it was a great time. I mean, it really was, and shout out to Forum Credit Union, the title sponsor. I love everybody at Forum Credit Union. Speaking of helping me out, because I don't have the brains and the smarts real good, right? That's what they do for me, always helping me financially work my way out of JMV types of situations. They are just the absolute best. Brent Halverson and Heaven Hill Distillery. The one common thing that I heard last night from everybody on the staff and, of course, people that attended the event is, man, I love listening to Brent Halverson every Thursday doing his Larceny Bourbon Locks and his Luna Azul Tequila shots, but he's even nicer in person. He is even nicer in person. It was great. The Larceny Bourbon Lounge, whether it was the samples before or on the stage last night, that was outstanding, too. A quick shout-out to Connecticut Water. I know that John was there. I didn't get a chance to talk with him last night, but John was there with Connecticut, and they sponsored my segment last night. You know how I feel about Connecticut. And the folks at Michaelis, now Michaelis is not connected to me, but I am connected and with the station, and they are connected with the station. And the great folks of Michaelis were fantastic as well last night. I just want to thank everybody for being great at that event. The Indiana Historical Society, if you are looking for a place that is a great place for something, or just to visit, for example, it's just a great spot. And David Wood, all right, David Wood gave me some sound advice on my segment before. Now, making me wear long pants for the first time since February wasn't very cool. That was a downer, but I did it. Like somebody had mentioned last night, dude, you look really weird in pants. And I go, yeah, I feel really weird in pants. There's no doubt. I felt really weird in pants. But I took the advice of D. Wood on a couple of different fronts, and the pants last night, that was one of them. So it was great. I hope you enjoyed it too. I ran down a variety of things. Colts and defense. Obviously talking about the draft. I put up stats last night, former Pacer draft picks, and some of those bad stats would include the last time the Pacers got up in this particular level of the high lottery. The last time they were this high was 1989, and you've heard us talk about this a number of times. That last time was George McLeod, and that wasn't great. And we went over all these first-round picks. Now, again, a different first-round vicinity, but still the same non-rotational, productive-wise result, whether you're talking about T.J. Leaf or Aaron Holiday or, as it stands right now still, with Goga Batadze. And those particular stats jump off the page. Those particular stats lead Pacer fans to believe, and I know a lot of you folks, especially our good guy Brian Haas that's inside the lounge via YouTube Live, very skeptical about what the Pacers, Kevin Pritchard and Chad Buchanan and Ryan and the gang can do with this draft tonight. Very skeptical because of the recent past. Now, I will also tell you the recent past also includes Duarte from a year ago, and Duarte's a good player. Duarte is better than rotational, but it's always still going to be that sting of the Leaf, the sting of the Holiday, and those that went around him. It's easy to go ahead and excuse, middle of the teens, late teens. I mean, what are you really going to do? You're going to find somebody there? The fact remains, though, others did. Whether you're talking about Anunoby, whether you're talking about a guy that they're, in fact, reportedly trying to track down in a trade, and that's John Collins. John Collins was there. I bring up Brandon Clark all the time. Listen, I don't know if Brandon Clark would have worked here now with the way this team looks, but you talk about a springy, all-effort type of do-anything-for-you dude. I may be wrong about this. I kind of look at, and people were going at Brandon Clark. What are you talking about? Memphis Grizzlies, Brandon Clark, who came out of Gonzaga, a 6'8". He's a jumping jack, but he was certainly he was a tweener coming out of the draft. he kind of reminds me a little bit, and Sohan may have a better jumper. I'd have to look it up. But these guys are both very athletic, incredibly lively, play incredibly hard, and to me, much like Brandon Clark did with a team that's ready-made now to challenge out west, no doubt about that, as we talked to Desmond Bain on this show of the Grizzlies last week. But yeah, you look at a guy like Sohan, does he fit in here? If, for example, the Pacers are able to move Malcolm Brogdon and to get the 10th or the 11th pick, whether it's the Wizards or the Knicks, can they move up, and might that be a target? Is it Mark Williams out of Duke that might be a target if they're able to do that? And if you go Mark Williams, does that mean that you're going to trade Myles? There was a report last night. I think Evan Sidery had this from Adrian Wojnarowski, and we'll talk to Evan coming up at Basketball News next hour. But he had that report from Adrian Wojnarowski that the Pacers have got the firm okay to go into full rebuild mode. I guess that could be a Connecticut water question of the day. What does that tell you? Does that tell you 3 and 4 years? That's what jumps off the page. A full rebuild mode jumps off the page as 3 and 4 years. And you guys will be cool with hanging. See, I understand part of it. There's an old saying, it's kind of blank or get off the pod, right? Either you can't be half pregnant or whatever some of those really horrible analogies I'm giving you are cliches right now regarding this. You can't be all in with a philosophy and not be all in with the philosophy. And that, I think, in part is what we're going to find out coming up later on tonight, because you do get some mixed messages. You get mixed messages when it comes to, for example, if Charlotte is a player here, if they can unload Gordon Hayward here and his $30+ million that remain each season he has remaining on his contract, and then also with that get 13 and 15. So if you go 6, 13, and 15, that would certainly speak to a pretty robust rebuild. But at the same time, I mentioned mixed messages. I mean, when you're trying to track down, maybe looking at somebody like John Collins, John Collins is a guy that can play and play right now. And you certainly saw that 2 seasons ago when he was with Atlanta. But he's a guy that can give you what you're looking for right now. So maybe with that news, maybe they are thinking about doing what I have asked them or hoped that they would try to do, try to get players that can long-term out, that you believe in longer term, while also giving fans around here a reason to come out. A reason to try to locate in whatever means necessary, the broadcast of Bally Sports Indiana. Just give them a reason to be interested and not apathetic about it. So that's what it sounded like to me. Like last night when Evan hit up that particular tweet and talked about it, it kind of sounded like that, hey, you know what? They are absolutely pulling the plug, and they're going to trade Brogdon and Myles and who knows what else, and they're going to start from maybe not entirely scratch, but pretty close to scratch. John Collins kind of sounds like that they have a bit of a different philosophy than that. And that's something we'll talk about over the course of the afternoon, too. And Evan, again, is going to join us coming up in the 4 o'clock hour with all of the latest trade rumors that are going on out there. I mentioned the Charlotte rumor. And those of you that don't know, it is interesting because Gordon Hayward, not because you want to lean on him as any sort of building block for the future, but that's another situation that you could look at if you wanted to. And you could suggest, all right, if, for example, if it's Myles, because Charlotte's always been hot after reportedly Myles. If it's Myles, Gordon comes here, how much does he have left? Can he help them play to a point to where they're interesting / also building? What's, again, the John Collins rumor? Those are the types of things we have to sift through, because you get from one angle, it sounds like that they're completely going to rebuild, and a lot of you are going to be on board with that. But on the other hand, it's almost like that they are taking the philosophy that I had talked about of, not only rebuilding, certainly with players of importance, and hit on this number 6, but at the same time also be interesting, be more than what they were a year ago. because you checked out. And the only reason if you didn't check out was because of the new talent that was here. But that's kind of what it sounds like to me, and we'll get into that discussion with you at 239-1070. Over the course of the afternoon, I am going to ask you periodically what you think they're going to do, and this doesn't have to just be confined to the 6th overall selection. We can do anything you want. Yeah, obviously I want to know who you think they're going to go with in the 6th, and there's a lot of determining factors here. Like Vegas says that Banchero's the number 1 overall pick, whereas Wojnarowski and others believe that Jabari Smith is the number 1 overall pick. But we can still sift through it. The only thing I believe that would make this more interesting is if Jaden Ivey slid to 5, and there might be a path to Jaden Ivey. Otherwise, as we talked about the past couple of days, it seems like that they're going to be choosing between whatever's left between Mathurin and Murray, and who you like out of that. And it may not be their particular decision. That may end up being the decision of the Pistons that they end up with. But I will tell you this. If, for example, you can go Mathurin, you can go Murray. I've been pro Murray. There's no doubt about that. I'm not going overboard with it. I've just explained to you my reasons why I like his game ready-made now and then building into the future. And there's nothing wrong with Mathurin. I think Mathurin is, close to being defined just like that. But as we talked about yesterday, if it comes down to that, I don't think you overthink it. And you can get caught up in it. One of those two guys at 6 should be there. If one of those two guys at 6 are there, that's your pick. Now, where this gets interesting is what else may occur. Does OKC move around a little bit? Does somebody try to get up and get Sacramento's pick? And then, even further past, is this legit, this Brogdon stuff you hear regarding the Knicks, regarding the Wizards, and the possibility of the Pacers securing 10 or 11, and what they may go after there, whether it's Sohan or Griffin, or as I mentioned, Mark Williams is also hovering around in that general vicinity. And then obviously what we talked about with Gordon Hayward, with Charlotte. Charlotte would like to rid themselves of his contractual obligations and then go ahead and ship him off with the 13 and the 15. Would that type of thing make sense around here for a couple of years, paying Gordon Hayward upwards of $30+ million, and make you wonder what you might be able to do if you did that deal, and then he played well enough to justify somebody taking a shot at him prior to the trade deadline, and maybe you get something more, another asset for it. So all these things you would think are coming into play. At the very least, they're coming into play via conversation that we can have right here. 239-1070. Email address is jmv@1070thefan.com. The show is on Twitter at jmv1070, Inside the Lounge via YouTube Live. You got us on Facebook Live as well. We are up and running right now. I look extra stinking special right here. I know you guys love this shirt too, don't you? Like everybody wants this shirt, but it looks like I've been working out, and I haven't. Look at that right there. Is it uncool to see Anna? Can I flex in this video, right? Is it okay? Look at that. Looks like I've been working out. Honestly, I haven't done anything. I haven't even slept too much recently. But you can watch. Love to have you Inside the Lounge via YouTube Live. The app, the stream, and you got us as well as HD Radio. That's 93.1 HD Radio 2, and conventionally 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. All right, more to come, too. I want to get to your calls. I want you to tell me who's going to be at 6 and what type of scenario beyond that. I mean, if you can elaborate on what you would like to see tonight. What would make this more than just a drafting at number 6 overall, that high for the first time since the great decade of the 1980s? What would make this more of a signature Pacer time? I mean, there's a lot of new and fresh stuff going on here because, frankly, you guys haven't seen this Pacer team up in this particular vicinity. Now, I will say this. As much as it feels good to be up here, it also feels bad to be talking about a 25-win team and the myriad of holes that you have to try to fill in the process of becoming good again. And then talking about how long it's going to take and whether or not a fan base or anybody within the fan base will have the patience to hang around. Yeah, the 25-win part's what stinks. The improving on that, because I think we do often underscore just exactly how bad last season was. Because a lot of you, for the first time in forever, kind of got your wish with trading and then working for the future. Can you see what Houston has done and buy into that? Can you see what OKC, certainly not to that extent, but what Oklahoma City has done and buy into that and still remain interested with this team? And what else is going on around the NBA on Draft Night 2022? And again, we've got the official Pacers draft party going on here at the District Tap on the north side. I'll take you there. They'll start around 7:30. They're going to have Corona deals across the board for you. They already have the great food right here as well. And Darnell Hillman's going to be up here as well. The official Pacers draft party is at District Tap, 86th Street, right? 86th Street right here. I always get confused. 82nd or 86th? In a second, right? 82nd? So it's 86th further down, but 82nd right here. Come on, you guys. It's going to be like Bargersville. Just call it Stone something. Call it Smoky Row something. Come on. No, seriously. 82nd Street right here. We are at District Tap and the official Pacers draft party coming at you later on tonight. I mentioned Evan Sidery is going to join us coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. We're going to discuss some of those rumors that are floating around out there. I also wanted to bring on, per usual, Mike Chappell in the 5 o'clock hour every Thursday, but I want to focus certainly with Mike on the passing of Tony Siragusa at the age of 55 that occurred yesterday. I went at length on it. I took everybody back to the year 1995 and what that year meant. And one of the few, any longer, characters of the game that it seemed like there were a hell of a lot more back in the day. They certainly don't seem like that they're any longer, but Tony Siragusa was one of those. Mike Chappell has covered the Colts here since the Colts got here from Baltimore and has really just a great angle on what Tony Siragusa meant to this team and this organization at that point in time, because it's messy. It was rotten with a lot of losing going on. A lot of losing going on, and it was like a one-step forward, hey, look what happened here, and then a two-step back type of deal. And then and only then in 1995 did they give this fan base something that it had not been a part of ever. I mean, you talk about a new and a fresh feeling, that was it. Only for a 3-week period. And as I mentioned yesterday, if you closed your eyes, you probably thought you were going to miss it. In fact, you probably rubbed your eyes and thought, well, wait a minute. What is actually going on here? Is this really happening? Is this the Colts team that I've been going to watch, and they're where? They're in the AFC divisional. They're in the AFC title game. This is the Colts. That was an eye-opener across the board for you. And Tony Siragusa was a huge part of that. Mike will join us with a little bit of reflection coming up on that and the passing of Tony Siragusa yesterday at 55. Mike joins us coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. And a lot more for you, including your calls. So I want to start that coming up on the other side. 239-1070. Number 6, is it as easy as I claim it to be? I could add Ivey, Mathurin, and Murray, but I think Ivey's going to be gone by then. Is it as easy as suggesting Mathurin or Murray? Whoever is there at 6, that's who you go with. Or are you thinking Dyson Daniels? Or are you thinking Shaedon Sharpe? Are you thinking Johnny Davis? To me, it's that easy. To me, you don't want to try to be out-thinking the room on this. You take Mathurin or you take Murray. You take whichever of those two are available. To me, I hope it's Murray. But if it's not, take Mathurin. Is it that simple? Should it be that simple? 239-1070. Email address at JMV at 1070thefan.com. The official Pacers draft party is at the District Tap on the north side of Indianapolis. Brought to you by Corona. Thank you very much for joining us. I want you here, too. So please, especially those of you that attended a night in the Fancave last night. And again, shout out to the sponsors, the title sponsor, Forum Credit Union, Heaven Hill Distillery, Larceny Bourbon Lounge. That's Brent Halverson and the great Randy Strand as well. Just tremendous dudes, as you guys all talked to Brent last night. I told you, he's more than just a great voice every Thursday with our Larceny Bourbon Locks and Luna Azul Tequila Shots, which, by the way, are coming back. And he told me last night, this is true, he told me last night that he sold all of our Thursday Larceny Bourbon Locks and Luna Azul Tequila Shots, all of those locations every Thursday during the NFL season in 5 minutes. That's about Halverson. That's not about me. That is about Brent Halverson. It was awesome. It is going to be a great football season. And last night, the Larceny Bourbon Lounge was outstanding. Also, shout out to Connecticut Water. That's my friends John and Joe for being a part of that, and Michaelis as well for being a part of what was our first night in the Fan Cave last night. All right, 239-1070 is the number. Your phone calls and more. That is coming up next on what should be an interesting and hopefully signature night in Pacer basketball history. It's draft night 2022. We got you covered. The official Pacers draft party brought to you by Corona happens tonight between 7 and 7:30. That is the starting time. District Tap, Northside, 93.5 and 107.5 FM The Fan. Back with you next.
O'Reilly.
This is Sarah's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
Driving cross country with 2 young children is ambitious, to say the least. Then our check engine light came on. We pulled into O'Reilly Auto Parts and they tested it. Turned out it was a faulty sensor. They referred us to a great mechanic just down the street and we were back on the road in no time.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Jake Query here. This weekend, the Marion County Fair starts up, and so does Circle City Raceway's fair racing schedule, with racing action on Friday and Saturday. And this Sunday night, Monster Trucks and the Demo Derby brings the first weekend of the fair to a close. And next Friday, the 1st, it's the school bus figure eights and school bus rides for the kids. Circle City Raceway is family-friendly action, great food, free parking, and outrageous fun. Check out the whole Circle City Raceway fair races at circlecityraceway.com.
As a contractor installing windows, you deserve a simple choice. Anderson 400 Series windows. They're the cladwood windows contractors trust the most. So much so, they're the windows contractors trust for their own homes. And they even have fewer callbacks for extra peace of mind. When it comes to windows, the choice is simple. It's Anderson 400 Series windows. The windows contractors trust the most. Request a quote at AndersonWindows.com today.
Claims based on 2022 Anderson Brand Survey of U.S. contractors.
Circle K is America's thirst stop. And yours, especially when the weather gets... and you need to stay refreshed on the go with ice-cold Circle K favorites like freshly ground iced coffee, Froster, Polar Pop Cup, and more. Think of it as the ultimate thirst-quenching, totally rehydrating summer splash zone. When life's go, 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 make us your first stop. Because Circle K is America's thirst stop.
Hey tennis fans, with the BetRivers.com sportsbook app, you can smash, slice, and spin your way to big tennis paydays. That's because we're serving up the excitement of live in-game betting, where you can bet on all the action, including point-by-point betting from tournaments around the world. Plus, with BetRivers' award-winning customer service, it's game, set, and match. Download the BetRivers.com sportsbook app. It's a whole new game.
Must be 21. Must be located in Indiana. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-8448.
The largest bourbon event in Indiana is back. Big Red Liquor's Bourbon Expo and Rare Bourbon Lottery is Saturday, July 9th, 1 to 4 at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. Tickets on sale now for 400 plus bourbons to sample, plus Rare Bourbon Lottery. Get your tickets now, BigRedLiquors.com. Must be 21 to enter.
The Sundown Gardens 4th of July sale, June 25th to July 3rd. 20% off container shrubs and perennials, 30% off all items at Miss Mary's Gift Shop, 186th Street and Spring Mill Road.
School is in session.
Jason Benetti, the pitch clock. That's just going to happen.
If you didn't want to do the pitch clock, you could put a little moat around the mound.
Yes.
Tiny little crocodiles. Think about the pressure for the guy who's in charge of opening and closing the tiny little moat.
Yes.
You don't want to get it wrong.
You can get 1,000 in a row right, but it's one. It's
somebody getting a toe bitten off. We don't want to see that.
Dan Dockage, weekdays noon to 3 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
You just got your asses whipped by a bunch of damn nerds.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
The official Pacers 2022 draft party, brought to you by Corona, is tonight at the District Tap, 82nd Street. We are on the north side of Indy. This is a great place, by the way, too. And we are sitting out. The garage doors are open. We are sitting out. There's a nice little subtle breeze happening in here. And I'm going to tell you, honestly, with the wood kind of background, this is like the best setting I think we've ever had for YouTube Live right here. So, yeah, tune that in, YouTube Live or Facebook Live. We would absolutely love for you to be watching, and I want your input on this number 6 tonight, or what you think, even elaborating past that, the blue and gold may end up doing as far as the draft later on this evening. 239-1070 is the number. Let's start this show with Derek. Hello, Derek. How are you?
Hey, JMV, I'm good. Listen, I think you and I have been on the same page since all this started. First things first, you spend the next 3 hours to get that third pick from Houston. You draft Banchero. I don't care what you got to do to get it. You get it, solves the problem. If not, you stay at number 6. You take Murray or Mathurin in that order, but you're also trying to acquire later picks if you can. Because if they are in the mood where they've got to get everything done now, you got to get it done now. You got to get more players than what they have right now. I'll hang up and see what you think about that.
Listen, I think they're going to do that. So I'm going to leave you here. He's gone. So with everybody out there, I explained to you what Charlotte allegedly is looking for in a deal. So the report is that they want to shed themselves of the contractual obligations of Gordon Hayward. So with what they're trying to do, they also would be willing to part with, I think, both 13 and 15. And then obviously get something in return. And, that something may very well, because they've certainly been enamored with in the past, Myles Turner. So would you be for that? And this is not a Brogdon deal right here. This would seem to be, just because of the past reports and the alleged past interest in Myles Turner, this would probably be more of a Myles Turner. So a year or two, maybe if he played well and actually got to play and wasn't injured, maybe playing himself into a trade deadline opportunity. I mean, just curious. Because yesterday I wasn't really down with it. The more and more I thought about it, the more and more it did kind of make sense. But the problem that I have is, even with Evan Sidery saying, and again, he was just reporting what Wojnarowski was saying because this came from him at ESPN.com, if the Pacers are good with a complete rebuild, does it make a lot of sense that you should be in on somebody like John Collins? I know that. How old is he? Is he 26, 27? Kyle, John Collins?
John Collins is only 24.
24. So that's why that would make sense then. That's why that would make more sense. So he's only 24. So he would fit along with these younger players that they are trying to come up with. So that would make more sense. And he is an established player. But again, I think my philosophy still holds true, because he is an established player that has done some things and would give you the interest. While you're trying to turn things over, you also remain interesting. And I'm assuming folks out there would dig that maybe more than, be digging that of trying to deal with Gordon Hayward. It just depends on what you're looking for coming up out of this draft. I tell you what else it depends on. It also depends on just how much you believe in this draft, just how loaded this draft is. It's very dependent upon that. I mean, do you believe in this draft? Is this draft as deep to be able to go all in on it with player after player? That's something else I think you need to think about right here. Just exactly what you think about the draft and this depth of this draft in general. JMV at 1070thefan.com is the email address, at JMV on Twitter. Yeah, JMV, it's that easy, which is why the Pacers will mess this up and probably pick Dyson Daniels, which will cause me to write a strongly worded letter to Kevin Pritchard. So is it that easy? Is it that easy? Mathurin or Murray? Whatever Detroit doesn't do, is it that easy to look at it that way? 239-1070. Mike is on air next. Hello, Mike. How are you, bud?
It's Macho Mike.
Hello, Macho Mike. Are you dancing for the Pacers draft number 6 overall tonight? You doing a dance for it?
If they do right, yell hi, Angel, real quick.
What's that?
Yell hi to Angel.
Hello, Angel. How are you?
She wiggle their ears. And every morning, my prayer is you and Blake and Laney and the missus. And I'm actually doing a walk for kidney disease this weekend. I lost my niece to kidney failure 35 years old, so I'm keeping busy. Bless you all. A draft YMCA and have a wonderful party there tonight. And I also prayed for your man cave for everybody last night, too.
Buddy, thank you very much, Macho Mike. I appreciate that. Coming from experience here, I've had kidney issues myself. I've had one that got shredded up back in the mid-'80s because of multi-kidney stone. You don't want that. No kidney stones. Pacer Steve is up next at 239-1070. Steve, jump on here. What's up, bud?
Hey, any trade that gets rid of Myles Turner, sign me up.
Sign you up. So you're good. You'd be good. I'm just assuming this because of the past interest Charlotte has had. You'd be cool with Myles to Charlotte for what's left of Gordon Hayward and his contract in 13 and 15.
Yeah. But see, another thing I don't understand about I think Turner on his next contract is going to want a lot of money. He's not going to want Russell Westbrook money, but I think he feels like with his defensive praise he gets and blocks and all that kind of stuff, we're not going to back up the Brinks truck. We shouldn't. But when this contract expires, I think it's going to cost us a lot of money to keep him. And he's just as liable to go off for the bright lights someplace else, a la Paul George. So, isn't now exactly when you pull the trigger on something? And not with his injury. I don't agree with this stuff. Well, we want to see how he's going to mesh with the new lineup, this and that, and the new draft pick, because between now and the trade deadline, see, something's going to break or bend or tear, and then that's going to go out the window. I don't think you run the risk of injury. He's injury prone. He's almost as bad as Brogdon. I think you do it now. You got to pull the trigger on something with him before the season starts, or you're going to sign him to a new contract. One of the two.
Well, I think you could honestly. I think your valid opinion of injury concerns, that's the one thing I think about. And that's where you'd be rolling the dice, because I always come back with you can see how this works moving forward, see how he fits, see how this team meshes together, and then trade him at the trade deadline. But, you also roll the dice that, there's not going to be an injury concern or something like that. So I think that, to me, would be more of the concern than thinking about anything contractual further down the road. At least to me.
Well, Brogdon, I kind of feel the same way about Brogdon. I know we just signed him to a new contract, but, a guy's only, who was it? Woody Allen or somebody said that, 90% of the job is showing up. He doesn't show up. I really hope we unload both these guys before the season starts, because you want to talk about a fresh start. Just imagine not worrying about, where you're going to put a guy in the lineup, and it's not because is he playing well enough or does he deserve minutes or anything. It's you're worried about, is he even going to be well enough? Neither one of those guys' health, I think, is a huge concern, and we need to unload both of them.
All right, hey, thank you, Pacer Steve, for the call. Here's the thing about Myles. Listen, I don't have any intel on this, but I feel reasonable that he would have played if there was any reason for him to play at the end of the season. I think the reason why you didn't see him again, because there was absolutely zero reason for you to see him again. There's more of a reason to see Terry Taylor, more of a reason to see others than there was to see him again. I think if there was a reason for him to be out there, I think he probably would have found his way back. Listen, the only thing I look at as far as what you just said, Pacer Steve, is the possibility of an injury concern. I can't lie to you. I am kind of interested with what they get at 6 and what they end up doing further down the road. I am kind of interested to see how Myles might look, but, I understand the concern, and if that Wojnarowski report is accurate, then I would fully expect both he and Brogdon to be dealt maybe tonight. Now, a lot of people are kind of off the Myles thing, and Myles would be certainly more surprising than Brogdon. It seems like Brogdon is going to find a new seat coming up later on tonight somewhere. But and it's not because I have this deeply rooted belief in Myles. I don't know if, I guess I'm a little bit skeptical in the area of 13 and 15, and maybe Myles comes back, plays well with this group, and you're still not very good, and you still want to move forward without him. Maybe you can find something else before the trade deadline. I just don't know if you're in a huge rush, as you would explain it to be, to dump him coming up later on tonight, whereas because you really have no spot on this team for him, Brogdon is a priority to move. Eric's at 239-1070. Eric, join the show. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Good to talk to you. I haven't talked to you in a minute. Just had a quick thought, man. What if, Portland's rumored to be looking at Anunoby for the 7th pick, and I thought if we could trade Brogdon to, like, Washington or the Knicks and get number 10 or 11, maybe you could sweeten the offer a little bit, get OG back to Indiana, and then use the number 6 pick on whoever.
Well, I tell you what, I would be up for if you're able to find a way to remain at 6. I don't want them trading 6. I want to see what you can come up with 6. I think, to me, that's a priority. But, if it's a 10th pick or 11th pick, or if you can try to find a young, still young, established player, that's why John Collins does make it interesting. A guy like John Collins who's 24 years old, it would be something similar to that, I would guess. I wouldn't have a problem with it.
No, and then lastly, I think a lot of people are going to have egg on their face if we get rid of Myles Turner. You all you have to look is the defensive stats when he's gone. I know he's not maybe lived up to all the potential, but he is hardly a bad pick, and I'd be real careful with that. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, bro.
Eric, you call anytime. I can't lie to you. I kind of want to see some of these major with egg on their face. I kind of want to see it. I've said this before. I sit here, I don't mind if they trade him and he goes someplace else, and I hope he plays really well, because I want to be able to talk a bunch of junk when he does. That's part of it. Would I rather see him play well, play at a higher level here with this group, help them grow? Yes, but I can't lie. There's part of me that would like to see him someplace else so I can talk a bunch of junk to all of you. Not all of you, most of you. Certainly not me and not Eric, who just called. The official 2022 Pacers draft party is brought to you by Corona. It is at the District Tap tonight. It is underway at 7:30 here on 82nd Street on the north side. Darnell Hillman's going to be here. You're going to have great Corona drink specials, the great food here as well. We are the opening act for that. We are like, if you watched, anybody watch Almost Famous recently? We're like Stillwater compared to Black Sabbath. That's what we are, if you've watched Almost Famous. We're the opening act for the official Pacers draft party here at District Tap tonight. Underway, brought to you by Corona at 7:30. Back to the phones, 239-1070. Mike talks Jaden Ivey next. Mike, welcome to the show.
Hey, JMV.
Mike, it's great to have you. Go ahead.
Hey, I just thought myself, I'm saying with everybody else, Brogdon, I don't care if he goes. I think Turner, if you keep him, he has a little bit of a defensive presence. He can block some shots, give you some points. But if you got to package him, fine. But, everybody talks about Ivey taking him at 6. He didn't impress me much when he got against a stronger talent as the tournament got along. I just don't know if he's worth the sixth pick.
Can I ask you, hey, Mike, I'm going to ask you a question I'm just curious about. Do you think the way, if Ivey played at Villanova or Providence or USC or UCLA, would people be as in love with him right now as they would being from Purdue? I'm not suggesting that's accurate. I'm just curious.
I think that being in the Big Ten, there's games he looked really good, but in another conference, I don't know if he would have been just an average player. I mean, he's got some games, he's got some hops, but I just don't know if he's worth the sixth pick.
Mike, thank you very much for the call. And the reason why I brought that up is because, yes, we do tend to gravitate to those we see more than others. I've seen much more of Keegan Murray than I have Benedict Mathurin. So what's my pick at 6? What do I want to see them do? That's just kind of the nature of it. It is kind of the nature of it. I'm not a huge Big Ten honk, as they say, but I've just seen a lot more of Keegan Murray's shot-making ability than I have the overall game, the toughness, the athleticism of Benedict Mathurin. That just comes with the territory. So, yeah, I think we are. I mean, we are a little bit more to a lean with Ivey because we've just seen a lot more. There's much more of a belief in what he can transition into if you've watched him as much as we all have around here. But if he's, from Nova or Florida, LSU, something like that, would you feel exactly the same? Maybe not. That just, again, is the reality of where you are and what you watch more than anything else. It's very true, though. All right, Bradley, Rob, we'll get you guys coming up on the other side. Again, the official draft party 2022 for the Pacers, brought to you by Corona, is right here at the District Tap. It is officially underway at 7:30, and I'll help get you there. More of your calls. We got Evan Sidery, basketball news, top of the hour. Mike Chappell in reflection on the life of Tony Siragusa and what he meant to this Pacer organization when there wasn't a lot to lean on. There wasn't a lot to talk about that wasn't about losing. What he meant in the 1990s to the Colts back in the day. Mike's going to join us in the 5 o'clock hour to do that. And your calls, number 6 and beyond. You can elaborate, too, on what is going to be a signature draft, I think, for this Pacer team. Certainly a signature draft and an important draft that we have seen, the most important in a long time, happens later on tonight. Live from the District Tap, brought to you by Corona, 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Who's it gonna be?
Purdue's Jaden Ivey.
You would think Jaden Ivey wants Indy.
1980s basketball, then don't draft Jaden Ivey.
Keegan Murray mentioned that he has met with Indiana.
Keegan Murray, to me, feels like a brand new, loaded, with all the options, Honda Accord.
Jabari Smith.
Mathurin feels like he could be a Jaguar.
Chet Holmgren. Paulo Banchero.
Who's next to wear the blue and gold? Find out tonight on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
It's Johnny for Aurora Sleep Clinic. I struggled with snoring. And as I've talked about all the time, it hijacked my bed rest. I was not getting sleep at all. I couldn't do anything about it. I couldn't find a solution. And then a couple of former Hoosier basketballers, Brian Evans, Dr. Steve Green, told me all about the Aurora Specialty Sleep Clinic and this mouthpiece. All you have to do, it's simple, it's affordable, easy to make. You wear it at night, and to stop my snoring, it can do the same for you. StopYourSnoreNow.com. If you or somebody you know sick and tired of losing sleep every night because of snoring, do something about it. Aurora Specialty Sleep Clinic. StopYourSnoreNow.com. Tell them I sent you today.
Dan Dockich's annual Tom Dockich Memorial Golf Outing presented by Franciscan Health is on the schedule and set for July 18th. Go to 1075thefan.com/events for details and tickets.
Indianapolis. At Geico, our employees' careers matter to us.
We're starting a family, so benefits matter to me.
You got it, Anna. Geico offers a comprehensive benefits package and paid parental leave because family matters. Your hopes and dreams matter. Even your morning coffee routine matters.
You know what they say. Live, laugh, half-calf macchiato, extra whip.
When it comes to your career, what matters to you matters to Geico. We're now hiring claims, sales, and customer service agents. Apply today at careers.geico.com/Indianapolis and let's get growing.
My name is Kayla Sinders, and I work for Gleaners Food Bank. I am a local service manager for 3 counties in our 21-county service area, and I nominated Katie.
And I'm Jiffy Lube owner Steve Sanner. At Jiffy Lube, we are proud to support Hoosier charities that use their vehicles to do more to make Indiana a better place to live.
My name is Katie Wilkerson. I pick up at the mobile food pantries. The best part of volunteering to hand someone some food and see the smile on their face, the relief. Without my vehicle, there's no way I'd be able to do this. To go to any of the pantries, it's at least 18 miles.
Jiffy Lube of Indiana provides all of our Do More winners with free vehicle maintenance for a year. Because now at Jiffy Lube, our trained technicians do more to keep vehicles like theirs and yours on the road. Brakes, tires, batteries, and more, as well as Indiana's favorite oil change since 1985.
Jiffy Lube accepts competitors' coupons, so you don't have to choose between saving a few dollars versus treating your vehicle to Jiffy Lube's award-winning service. Click on JiffyLubeIndiana.com for a Jiffy Lube near you.
Here's the number, 317-284-9526. That is the number to make sure that you are ready, just in case something goes haywire with your plumbing. That's Lance and his local team. They're the best in plumbing at LD Smith Plumbing. 317-284-9526. Also ask about the 83 or free visit that they have involving a clogged main drain. That's LD Smith Plumbing. Any plumbing situation, including plumbing emergencies. The best, 317-284-9526 online, ldsmithplumbing.com today.
Hubler has all the top brands: Chevy, Buick, GMC, Ford, Acura, Honda, Mazda, Nissan, and more. And every new vehicle includes a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Looking to sell your vehicle? We'll pay you top dollar, even if you don't buy ours. Take it from Brooke Hubler.
You can get a car anywhere, but you can only get a warranty like this at Hubler. 10 years, 200,000 miles.
Visit drivehubler.com. Warranty available on new vehicles except certain models, not transferable or available on leases. Copy of the warranty is available for review at the dealership.
Experience the first annual IKEA Midsummer Celebration this weekend. Join us on June 24th to the 26th for food samplings, great offers, and more. And as an IKEA family member, you can save $20 in store when you spend $200 or more pre-tax and scan your IKEA family card. Visit IKEA-USA.com/midsummer for more information and to plan your trip to your local store starting June 24th. Offer valid 6/24 to 7/4 in the U.S. Discount applied proportionally across items purchased as shown on receipt. See store and IKEA-USA.com/midsummer for complete terms. Exclusions apply.
We're the most active season of the year right now, but if you have joint pain, you can't live like you want to. Whether it's heading to the zoo, walking on the canal, attending an Indians game, hip pain, knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, it sucks the fun out of living. I'm Kevin Bowen, and I've got some fantastic news for you, though. QC Kinetics is helping the people get the fun back with advanced regenerative treatments from local professionals right here in Indy locations in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. We're talking regenerative medicine. It's the hottest thing going. It's basically growth factors with healing properties from your own body, highly concentrated, then putting them into your aching joints. It's exciting. In-office, non-surgical treatment can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints, giving you real, lasting relief from pain. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in these cutting-edge, all-natural options, and the patient satisfaction reports are incredible. Yes, you can get real relief from pain with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. So call QC Kinetics 463-235-7160. Again, locations in Eagle Creek and Greenwood.
The most exciting jewelry buying opportunity is happening right now at Diamonds Direct. Pick any jewelry piece, pay nothing down, and get 5 years, zero-interest financing. Imagine that $4,000 eternity band for only $67 a month, or that $8,000 engagement ring, just $135 a month. You can finance 100% of the purchase price, even the tax. Don't miss this limited time opportunity for the lowest payments ever on fine jewelry. But hurry, this offer ends June 30th. Get details, directions, and more at diamondsdirect.com on approved credit.
Soccer Saturday featuring Indy 11. If this is your football, this is your show. Saturday at 9 on The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
My vision is to take this team as the first franchise to the Saturn Football League and play against 8-foot gargoyles that run 3.8 speed.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
It is the official 2022 Pacers Draft Party brought to you by Corona. It comes your way after I'm out of here. 7:30 tonight here at the District Tap on the north side, 82nd Street. Darnell Hillman's going to be here. Great Corona specials. Great food as always with our friends from the District Tap. So my advice is to get here and you can watch a moment that hopefully is memorable for a good reason. when the Pacers drafted number 6. A couple of interesting things, and Kyle and I were just talking about this during the break, is that apparently Kings ownership, they dig on Keegan Murray. The Pistons reportedly are in love with Benedict Mathurin. So is there a path? Should I even bring it up? Is there a path here? You think? Who's going to end up being available at number 6 if that would occur? What do you think, Kyle?
I think there might be some smoke screenage there.
Yeah. There's a lot of lying. Ryan Carr talked about how much lying goes on. He says basically when anybody opens their mouth, everybody lies to one another. It's almost like real life a little bit, I think, right there. Like the whole draft lead-up is like real life a little bit right there. I can't imagine. I can't imagine.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Pistons took Mathurin there and Murray dropped to 6. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened at all.
The other thing is, and I think Tyler sent me this, it's something that Alex Golden retweeted, that Jay Billis's comparison to Keegan Murray of right now NBA player, he described Keegan Murray as a more athletic and taller Malcolm Brogdon. Now, I know... Now, you guys say, well, you're in love and you're infatuated or whatever. No, this is the guy that I like. I just liked him playing college basketball. And I think he's really good. And I would like to see the Pacers get a guy that's really good that I like playing college basketball. In no way, shape, or form, when I watched him play, did I ever, and I mean ever, think of Malcolm Brogdon. And I'm not anti-Malcolm Brogdon either. I am pro-trading him now because he just doesn't fit any longer. But I'm not anti-Malcolm Brogdon. But I don't see that comparison whatsoever. What the hell's going on there? A taller and a more athletic Malcolm Brogdon is what you get. Is that all? Are we just running out of comparisons at that point? I don't get it. So I asked Tyler, I said, clearly you believe this. Hey, these guys have seen and certainly have been more read, and they're fed a great deal of information. But they don't know any more than you know. And they don't. They don't. You sometimes could throw a dart at a dartboard of a player and be more accurate than sometimes these teams can be, and these analysts can be. A taller, more athletic Malcolm Brogdon. So that's what you say, Billis, huh? Yes. That sounds terrific. Quick break and we'll come back. If you're on hold, I'll get to you. Jerome and Bradley on the other side. We got Evan Sidery coming up, too. I think Tony East is going to jump on here coming up at the end of the 5 o'clock hour. We got Mike Chappell in there, too, on the passing of Tony Siragusa yesterday. But we are live. The 2022 Pacers Draft Party is underway at 7:30 at District Tap, brought to you by Corona, with great drink specials on Corona and great food here. 7:30, the party is officially underway. We'll help get you there with 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Who's it gonna be?
Produce Jaden Ivey.
You would think Jaden Ivey wants Indy.
1980s basketball, then don't draft Jaden Ivey.
Keegan Murray mentioned that he has met with Indiana.
Keegan Murray, to me, feels like a brand new, loaded, with all the options, Honda Accord.
Jabari Smith.
Mathurin feels like he could be a Jaguar.
Chet Holmgren. Paulo Banchero.
Who's next to wear the blue and gold? Find out tonight on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
If you're a window installer, keep it simple. Choose Anderson 400 Series windows. They're the cladwood windows contractors trust the most. So much so, they're the windows contractors trust for their own homes. And with fewer callbacks, the choice is simple. It's Anderson 400 Series windows, the windows contractors trust the most. Get started at AndersonWindows.com today.
Claims based on 2022 Anderson brand survey of U.S. contractors.
Hey, everybody, we've all heard stories from friends and family about something really bad that happened. You're in an accident, there's a painful, life-altering injury, huge medical bills, even wrongful death, all from someone else's fault. Some of you are dealing with it right now. That's where the attorneys at Parr Ritchie Law Firm can help. Tony Patterson, Paul Cruz, and John McLaughlin lead a team with over 70 years of collective courtroom experience and millions of dollars in jury awards and settlements for their clients. None of us can change the past. Just know that Tony, Paul, and John are on your side to help you and your family going forward. They're recognized by super lawyers and U.S. News and World Report as being among the leading injury lawyers in Indiana. Even if you're unsure you have a case, give Parr Ritchie a call. They'll listen and give you their free experience legal opinion. Call 317-269-2509 or visit parrinjury.com. That's Parr injury.com.
Hey, tennis fans, with the BetRivers.com sportsbook app, you can smash, slice, and spin your way to big tennis paydays. That's because we're serving up the excitement of live in-game betting, where you can bet on all the action, including point-by-point betting from tournaments around the world. Plus, with BetRivers' award-winning customer service, it's game, set, and match. Download the BetRivers.com sportsbook app. It's a whole new game.
Must be 21. Must be located in Indiana. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-8448.
Post Malone, the 12 Carat Tour. The long-awaited event comes to Indianapolis. Gainbridge Fieldhouse, October 2nd. Post Malone. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. New album 12 Carat Toothache available everywhere.
NASCAR and IndyCar action return for Brickyard Weekend at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Saturday, July 30th, catch a doubleheader featuring the NTT IndyCar Series Gallagher Grand Prix, followed by the NASCAR Xfinity Series Pennzoil 150. Then Sunday, the 31st, the NASCAR Cup Series Verizon 200 at the Brickyard. Experience the roar and power of NASCAR and the speed and precision of IndyCar in one exciting family-friendly race weekend. Kids 15 and under get in free. Get your tickets now at ims.com.
If you're serious about selling your home, call Mark Dietel and his team today at 317-755-4232 or online markdietel.com. That's Mark, Dietel.com today.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
Friday on Kevin and Query, who did the Pacers draft? Is Malcolm Brogdon still a Pacer? Is Myles Turner still a Pacer? We will unpack it all. Join us at 7.
The Ride with JMV.
Are you kidding? You think I'd join this crummy snobatorium? But this whole place sucks. That's right, it sucks.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
Hey, the official Pacers 2022 draft party brought to you by Coronas at the District Tab coming up later on tonight. This show is going to help you get there. Tony East going to join us in the 5 o'clock hour. Chappell's going to be there, too. I've got Post Malone tickets to give away, not here, but on the phone. Coming up in a bit, too. Darnell Hillman's going to be here, 7:30, with great Corona deals and great food here, and you'll find out, right with everybody else at this party, who the Pacers will draft coming up later on tonight at number 6. All right, Jerome and Bradley. You guys sit tight. I'll get your calls coming up in a minute. We'll begin with you in the 4 o'clock hour. But I want to get in here and get the latest from Evan Sidery of Basketball News. A lot of rumors that are floating around and some that pertain to the Pacers situation. And Evan joins us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. All right, up to date with the Pacers and the latest rumors. What have you heard, read most recently regarding this Indy franchise as far as basketball is concerned, my brother?
Yeah, John, appreciate having me on again, but my phone has been blowing up for the last 3 or 4 days, and just hearing all these news and these rumors is flying like crazy right now. You have to decipher what's real and what's not. And like you mentioned from the Pacers, we've heard a lot of new stuff today. John Collins reported that could be an option for the Pacers, according to Sam Amick at The Athletic. If they decide to go that route, maybe if Keegan Murray's not there at number 6, that could be an option for them. And then you keep hearing about the draft. Benedict Mathurin, Detroit, he has some fans there in the Pistons front office. If somehow Keegan Murray could slip to 6, that seems like it's a possibility now. So there's a lot of love for Mathurin, a lot of love for Keegan Murray from Sacramento too. So it kind of feels like a lock at this point, John. Like we talked about when I was on the show last week, that it kind of feels like to me at least that one of the three between Benedict Mathurin, Keegan Murray, or Jaden Ivey is going to be an Indiana Pacer by the end of the night. So that's really the updates right now. And then from last night, too, from Adrian Wojnarowski, he reported live on ESPN that the Pacers are fully expected to embrace a rebuild under head coach Rick Carlisle. So So Malcolm Brogdon should be traded here this week, maybe by tonight, you have to imagine. And Myles Turner, Woj said that they are looking to trade Turner, but the offers right now are not great, so they might hold off until later in the summer. So there is a lot flying around for Indiana. They're expected to be really active tonight, John.
To Evan Sidery with us. Before I get to some of the stuff involving tonight's draft, why would it be better for them, other than the lack of really good offers right now for Myles Turner? What would make it better later on in the summer?
I think they're maybe just waiting for the musical chairs to stop, because it feels like this summer the center position, ironically enough, even though maybe it's kind of getting devalued nowadays, all the guys in the market now, the top guys like DeAndre, and it seems like he's positioned to go to the division rival Detroit Pistons here once free agency opens, to go for them. And then you see other big names in the center market as well that could be on the move. So I think the Pacers might just be waiting to see where those dominoes fall, who has their last spot left for a starting center spot. At that point, they might be able to extract more value and kind of help out a desperate team in that situation. So I think they eventually trade Myles Turner, to be quite honest, John. I think, like you mentioned before, Isaiah Jackson, especially Jalen Smith, too. If you drafted Keegan Murray, for example, at 6, you need to open up a lot more minutes in the front court. I know Myles Turner technically is on that same timeline as the Pacers. He is 25, could be 26, only about a year older than Chris Duarte. But I do believe that just the trajectory of this team, Myles Turner entering the year 8 of his career, I think it's time to fully embrace the rebuild. That's what Adrian Wojnarowski said, and I think you're going to be seeing some moves tonight that really represent that.
Yeah, see, I guess that's what, even beyond, I mean, you get those that don't like him, and then you get those that support him. But in terms of building, with age, he fits the mold right now. The only reason he doesn't fit the mold is because maybe they're just ready after, 8 years to move on, right? That's it?
Yeah, pretty much. And I think the biggest worry with Myles Turner, and as Pacers fans all know, is availability. And you have to wonder what happens next year if Myles Turner gets hurt again. The Pacers are stuck in that position where they might have to pay him when they don't want to, and he continues to show he's injury prone. So they're definitely listening to offers. We've heard multiple teams, according to reports, the Toronto Raptors and Minnesota Timberwolves are a couple teams to watch out for Myles Turner. Charlotte, of course, been linked for years with him as well. So I wouldn't be stunned, honestly, if they try to move Myles tonight. If they end up doing it, maybe Charlotte calls them last minute and offers a 13th pick for Myles, and they accept that. That could be something to watch out for there. But I do think if I had to bet one person tonight to get traded, it's probably Malcolm Brogdon. And the more I think about it, honestly, John, with mentioning the rebuild, Buddy Hield is another player we should watch out for. I think he's falling under the radar a little bit. He's 31 years old, a great shooter. He fits in well with Rick Carlisle's system, but they could probably get another pick tonight for Buddy Hield if they wanted to.
Yeah, I tell you, when you hear rebuild, that sounds longer than a couple of years, does it not?
Yes,
back to any sort of relevancy. Kevin Pritchard going to be in for the long haul for a longer term rebuild like this? I mean, Carlisle's well, or will Pritchard be gone by then? I mean, do their timetables match the timetable in which they're going? I guess one would have to, and I'm assuming that's Carlisle, but would Pritchard?
Yeah, I think, honestly, John, the people around the league are kind of stunned by the decision for Indiana, because Rick Carlisle has actually never been a fan of rebuilding. And all of a sudden, at this stage of his career, he's down for a rebuild. I think is a little confusing to people around the league, because he's never been a fan of doing that. And maybe Kevin Pritchard nudged him a little bit over that edge. I know Kevin Pritchard is the one to do a rebuild for a while, and Herb Simon's held off. But it sounds like Herb Simon gave him to go ahead this summer to go ahead and really unplug everything if they want to, reset around Tyrese Halliburton and the rest of their young core, because let's say if they do, they should be a really bad team next year, class. I know Pacers fans are hopeful for their young core, but it's going to take time to develop. They're probably going to be like a 30-win team next year, probably get another top 5, top 6 pick, and then from there, it's all betting on the youth. Tyrese Halliburton, can he turn to a superstar type player? Can number 6 be a grand slam hit for them? There's a lot of variables in place, a lot on the young guy's potential, but it's kind of the most realistic route for these small markets nowadays, John. We saw it in Phoenix where they sucked for over a decade. They missed on a lot of picks, but if you get on at least 2 or 3 picks in succession, like the Suns did, you can go from being a laughingstock to a juggernaut overnight.
Yeah. You just better hope you got some fans left.
Yeah.
By the time you get there.
That's the worry, I think, honestly, John, because they're the worst team in attendance for the last 5 years in the NBA. They fell off a cliff last year, too. We know about the TV issues in the local market there. The Pacers just have to hope they get this right, because they have to hope that Tyrese Halliburton's a superstar. They have to hope the number 6 pick is correct. Or if they somehow get the number 1 pick next year, if they somehow tank and get that position, they might help a little bit. But you're betting an awful lot on this young core. You're betting an awful lot on Tyrese Halliburton to be kind of the face of the franchise for the next 10-plus years. To right the ship.
Evan Sidery joins us on the Eddie Moore Automotive Group hotline. Maybe this is a nonsensical question. I'll just go ahead and ask it anyway. If you're going to commit, as Wojnarowski said, to a complete rebuild, why not just put everything together and really try to do something and get up in that top four, if you're really trying to do that?
That's kind of what I'm thinking about, John. I think it makes the most sense, because if you're in a position where you know you're going to reset for about 3 years or 2 years, and you know that you're not going to be good for the next couple of years, why not consolidate some of these assets? If you truly believe Jaden Ivey is a can't-miss prospect, and you know Sacramento is open to the possibility of trading down and maybe getting Keegan Murray at 6 anyways, if the Pistons like Benedict Mathurin, that kind of feels like a perfect pairing to me, John. I mean, if the smoke is real there with the Pistons and Benedict Mathurin, it kind of makes it an easy trade-up spot for the Kings and the Pistons, where the Kings can slide down, get their guy at 6, and the Pacers, if they love Jaden Ivey enough, can go up to 4 and get him not to worry about it.
Well, and even with that, if you're committing to a complete rebuild, draft Shaedon Sharpe or Dyson Daniels.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, don't mess with Murray then if you're committed to a complete rebuild. And I guess it's the definition. It depends on, again, if it was said and it wasn't a big lie, which happens all the time. If that's accurate, if you're going to commit to it, then commit to it. And I think that would be committing to it. Murray wouldn't be committing to it. Staying where you are at 6 really wouldn't be committing to it. If you are, I guess you go with a relative mystery or unknown that can build and can take as much time, 3, 4, 5 years, as you feel that you have to get this thing back together again.
Yeah, I think the Pacers are in a good spot at 6, though. I do like Shaedon Sharpe, but I'm just a little scared about the long-term potential of Shaedon eventually leaving Indiana. It just seems like he's attracted to the bright lights already in his career, and that's a little concerning. But a guy like Benedict Mathurin, I'm just so curious to see where he falls now tonight. If he is indeed on the board at 5 for Detroit, and they pass on him at 5, that means that Jaden Ivey went off the board at 4. It feels like, honestly, at this point, they want a guard next to Cade Cunningham. They want to get DeAndre Ayton in free agency, so it kind of takes the big man role for them as well. It kind of feels like the dots are connecting there where the Pistons want a guard. So I kind of would rule out, just depending on what happens here, at least one of Ivey, Murray, and Mathurin. They're going to be picking between one of those guys at 6, because I think there's star upside in all these guys. I really love Benedict Mathurin. I know Kevin is a huge fan as well. I do believe that Mathurin's a guy to watch out for here if he's indeed on the board 6. The Pacers had their entire front office, from what I was told, at his pro day in Santa Barbara last month, so the interest is real there. I think they're trying to keep that behind the scenes, but the Pacers certainly love Benedict Mathurin. They love Keegan Murray. I think they're in a really good spot if they stay put. The question is, after that, John, what do they do with Malcolm Brogdon? What do they do with Myles Turner? Because Woj mentioned last night they love multiple guys in that late lottery range that we talked about. They brought in Jeremy Sohan. They brought in Johnny Davis, A.J. Griffin. Those guys are all projecting the 10 to 12 range, so it's going to get very interesting with Pacers tonight. I honestly still predict that they get 2 lottery picks here, but it's going to come out of the wire a little bit.
So Evan Sidery of Basketball News on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. We talk about Brogdon, and there have been some rumors, the 10th with the Wizards, the 11th with the Knicks, to maybe get that pick in return. How real might those rumors be?
Yeah, it sounds like it might be some posturing going on behind the scenes between the Pacers and these teams, because we're seeing multiple reports kind of contradicting themselves right now, saying about the Knicks being interested in Brogdon, not willing to offer the 11th pick, actually being willing to offer the 11th pick. So kind of have to decipher what's real and what's not right now. I do believe, let's say if Jaden Ivey is not an option for the Knicks, if they can't trade up, or if Shaedon Sharpe is not available for the Knicks at 11, I think Malcolm Brogdon still makes sense for them, because they do need a veteran point guard. Myles Turner as well could be an option for a team like Charlotte at 13 or 15. I think, honestly, Malcolm Brogdon, I think everyone in the NBA, John, knows how desperate the Pacers are to get off Malcolm Brogdon, because they know they're backed into a corner. They know they have their point guard of the future already in Tyrese Halliburton. They know they want to get another extra pick. So I think teams are just kind of stalling the Pacers out here to see if they blink on something that they don't want to do.
Evan Sidery's with us. All right, Gordon Hayward, 13 and 15. Charlotte's trying to do something to get out from under his contract with a couple of years remaining, and to squeeze Miles Bridges into something there in Charlotte. How reasonable is that, and might the Pacers have interest there?
I mean, John, if we're talking about fully accepting a rebuild, and I know maybe some Pacers fans don't want to like that idea, but something like a Gordon Hayward trade where you take on that salary, get that additional lottery pick in this year's draft, it's kind of what their kind of goal, it feels like, is. If they're actually embracing this full-on rebuild, that's the type of move that you make. You use your salary cap space, you maybe take on some extra money, but you get an extra top 15 pick in the process. You let Isaiah Jackson and Jalen Smith get more minutes at center. I think it makes a lot of sense. Gordon Hayward could be a veteran mentor for this team. He could just be a guy who puts butts in the seats, I guess, for locally for 2 years, but nothing much outside of that. I think just a move as far as rebuilding on the margins. Those are the types of teams like the Pistons, the Magic. Like the Pacers are kind of entering into that territory now, John, where they might be accepting bad contracts to help out the rebuild.
So where's this John Collins thing come in with this complete rebuild? So he's 24. By the time they're rebuilt and good, he's going to be 30.
Yeah, it's a really interesting point that Sam Amick brought up today on The Athletic, that the Nets, the Wizards, and the Pacers have shown interest in John Collins. The Kings are also considered the favorite for John Collins right now. The expectation is that Collins will move tonight, so I will be curious to see where he ends on that. But with Collins, I do like the fit with Tyrese Halliburton. He is 24 years old. Like you mentioned, he'll be entering the prime of his career in a couple years. Consistent 20 and 10 guy, a good floor spacer. The logic for me, I guess, would be that he kind of reminds me of Keegan Murray a little bit. I'm not saying he's an exact type of guy, but he give you a 20 and 10. He's a more athletic version of Keegan Murray. He can do lobs as well. 40% three-point shooter. I guess that's my thinking there, but like you mentioned there, John Collins and extracting value, unless you're getting off Malcolm Brogdon and getting back John Collins, so I think it would be a huge win for them because Atlanta wants a backcourt partner for Trae Young. That can make some sense, but outside of that, I don't think Collins makes much sense for their timeline.
Yeah, I don't get it either. That part, because that would be more in line with my theory of putting young pieces in place, but adding some guys that have already been there and done that are also young. That would make sense as far as what my philosophy would be. But if it's what Wojnarowski reported yesterday, that to me wouldn't make an ounce of sense.
No, yeah, that's what's interesting to me is that, I mean, if you think about it, if they get off Brogdon tonight, if they get off Turner, and let's say, just hypothetically, John, they do like a Gordon Hayward trade, or if they swap out Brogdon for John Collins, I mean, I just wonder how fans would feel about that. You bring back a Hayward and a Collins, kind of like a win-now thing, but you add on some draft picks on top of that. They're kind of just going in neutral, in my opinion, if you kind of go that route. I just feel like if they are truly in deep behind the scenes telling people in the league they're ready to embrace a rebuild for the first time in 30-plus years, just unplug everything, John. I mean, get rid of Turner, get rid of Brogdon, get rid of Buddy Hield, get rid of T.J. McConnell. I think all these guys should be up for trade this summer. I think the Pacers, if they do it correctly, I think they have a really good shot to be good in a couple of years. The question is, like you mentioned before, how patient will the fans be?
Yeah. Well, I can tell you right now, they're all BSing me. Oh, yeah, patience this. Yeah, uh-huh. All right, patience. Right, patience. It's not happening. It won't. So we'll see regarding that if I'm wrong. Now, what do you think the percentages are that the Pacers really try to jump in on this John Collins thing?
I'd say maybe 10%. I think because sometimes when you see these reports come out, like sometimes it's the agent posturing and throwing out teams that are trying to grab value for the other team that's actually interested. So, like, I could easily see a scenario being like Collins' agent knows the Kings are interested. He throws out to a reporter, hey, the Pacers, they have a lot of cap space. They're interested in John Collins to try to make them bite a little bit. So I think it might be like negotiations behind the scenes with their agent trying to draft the price. But I like I mentioned before, and John, you agree as well. I mean, unless you really want to go all of a sudden and pivot overnight to a win-now rebuild, I just don't understand the Collins move.
Yeah, I kind of want to see Brogdon play for Nate McMillan again.
I mean, if we're talking logically, I mean, I would be okay if
I'm joking about that. I'm joking. I really don't want to, but yeah, I know that that's not going to happen. I mean, I know that's not going to happen. I'm just kind of joking about that anyway. Evan Sidery of Basketball News on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. All right, give me some surprises tonight that we might have in store. Some movers and shakers in this draft. OKC, we mentioned Charlotte a little bit earlier. Sacramento, what might they do? What are some of these interesting scenarios that we might see this evening?
Yeah, so we were talking last week, John, about the Thunder, and they could kind of throw a wrench in the Pacers' plans and everyone else's plans at the top of the draft. And from what we're hearing at Basketball News, and according to ESPN's Jonathan Gavoni as well, our draft experts Matt Babcock and Derek Murray have been able to get intel on this as well. But the Thunder are seriously considering consolidating a lot of assets to move up from number 12 in this year's draft, including Lou Dort and multiple future first-round picks, to try to go from number 4 to get Jaden Ivey. I mean, if that happens, John, if they're actually serious about doing this, and it sounds like they are trying aggressively to get up for Jaden Ivey and Shaedon Sharpe is their plan B, the Thunder really do control the cards tonight, so that's something to watch out for there. If they give a Godfather offer to Sacramento they can't refuse, they can get to a point where the Kings can't refuse. They have 26 first-round picks in the next 6 years, so they can get to a point where the Kings can't say no. So I'd watch out for the Thunder tonight. I'd watch out as well for a team like Memphis. Reported they're trying to move up from 22 and 29 to get into the lottery. so they're a team to watch out for there as well. And then also the Hawks. We mentioned before John Collins, but it sounds like Bogdanovich could be on the move as well tonight. Those are teams to keep an eye on there, but the rumors are flying in every 5 minutes, John. It's silly season right now. It's trade season, and I imagine there'll be a lot of trades happening in the next couple hours.
What's going to happen with Kyrie Irving in that situation? You talk about as the world turns right there. There's a soap opera for you. Always.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, at this point, if you're an NBA GM, John, I mean, why in the world would you pursue Kyrie Irving? I mean, no, he's destroyed 3 teams in the last 5 years, which is crazy to say, but the Celtics had to bounce back a couple of years. They had to get Kemba Walker on board when Kyrie left and had to get that show situated. Obviously, what happened now in Brooklyn, where if the Nets don't want to pay Kyrie Irving long-term, Kevin Durant is going to fall in the door. It's just a big soap opera there. And honestly, for Kyrie Irving, I mean, like I said, I would not give him a long-term contract. He's such a wild card nowadays, and it just goes to show you how crazy player empowerment is nowadays, John, where Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant can go to the negotiating table and kind of just force their hand on an organization, make them do what they want.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I saw the list of teams that he would accept the trade to, and it's the usual suspects of right now. You know, the Heat, the Mavericks, the Sixers, I think the Lakers. You know, all good teams that are on it right now, and I guess none of those teams have, all the teams that he requested or said he would accept, they don't have any cap space to do anything.
Yeah, it would have to be a sign-and-trade scenario where Kyrie re-signs the Nets and they get back assets via trade. Unless Kyrie, I mean, ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski and Brian Windhorst mentioned this yesterday because he's so unpredictable, but they didn't rule out Kyrie Irving just walking away if he gets a not good offer from the Nets and sign with the Lakers on a taxpayer mid-level exception, which is a $30 million pay cut for Kyrie Irving. And that would be absolutely insane, John, but a guy like Kyrie Irving, you literally can't rule anything out.
Well, I tell you this, I think that's my favorite scenario because that would be awesome. Can you imagine that big mess? That'd be just a huge mess. I think I'm all for that mess.
Hey, I mean, Kyrie reuniting with LeBron and that soap opera there with Anthony Davis, you would expect some fireworks probably in the first couple of days when that happens.
All right, couple of Indiana kids in mind as far as this draft is concerned. Blake Wesley out of Notre Dame, and I believe South Bend Riley up in South Bend. Where's he going to end up as far as the first round is concerned?
Yeah, so Blake West is actually getting a lot of buzz throughout this pre-draft process. He actually started out as a late first-round pick, but he's actually getting some late buzz here around the late lottery and the mid-first round. We currently have him from our Intel-based mock draft at Basketball News, Blake Wesley going number 20 overall to the San Antonio Spurs. So he should be in that 20 to 25 range on draft night tonight. I think Wesley probably will hear his name called in that range.
How about Jake LaRavia? Is he still top of the second round, or is he doing any moving right now before the draft tonight?
Yeah, so Jake LaRavia, looking at our updated mock draft here on basketballnews.com, we have LaRavia at number 29 in the Memphis Grizzlies. So he's locked in as a first-round pick. He's actually done really well throughout this pre-draft process, John, impressing teams. According to Alex Kennedy, my coworker at basketballnews.com, he spoke to Jake LaRavia in an interview yesterday. LaRavia actually is getting some serious interest from the defending champion Golden State Warriors, and they could be a team to watch out for tonight. They might try to move up the board or around to try to get them.
I love this. Sham says Kevin Durant is monitoring the net situation and considering options for his future.
Wow. Well, there's your domino, John.
I'm going to monitor the situation. That worked out well. He should have just stayed. Why not say in Golden State? He got to work out and try to put together his big three of his own, and that's worked out smashingly, has it not? Good Lord.
John, we're going to look back in 15 to 20 years on that Nets team with James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and it's probably going to be one of the biggest what-ifs in NBA history because those guys played a combined 15 games together, and now they're probably all off the team.
That's hilarious. And Kyle Udemart, my producer back in the studio, just tweeted this. I think that you can make a point that this time of year in the offseason for the NBAs oftentimes can be more entertaining than the in-season of the NBA. I'm talking about the regular season. Yeah.
I'm with you. I mean, this is my favorite part of the year. I mean, my phone's blowing up 24/7 looking at all these latest news and the draft, free agency, like all these rumors are popping up in and out, teams getting aggressive. It's a fun time of the year. I mean, for those who love the NBA, this is the golden time to get on the action. The next 2 or 3 weeks is when all the action is going to happen.
All right, before I let you go, Evan, give me your timetable. Best case scenario, if this is a a real rebuild here, an actual rebuild for the Pacers, as Wojnarowski suggested yesterday. Give me the timetable, the length of time before they become interesting again.
With the criteria of interesting, with the word you use there, John, I would say 2 years. If they hit this pick at number 6, if they add in a legit franchise face next to Tyrese Halliburton, you're off to a really good start there. But they're not going to be good next year, like I mentioned. So if they get another high pick next year, potentially number 1 overall pick, and get a franchise changer again, then you're cooking with gas there. So I think maybe them tanking next season, getting another high draft pick is the way to go. If Tyrese Halliburton shows steps next year, if the number 6 overall pick shows steps this year as well, and you get a top pick on top of that, I think you're in a really good spot. So I would say 2 years. I would say worst case 3 years.
So to get the number 1 pick, first you'd have to have some good fortune, which hasn't been abundant around here in a while. Have to have some good fortune. Then you have to be a 20, 22, 23 win team, right, in the process? That's what we're talking about?
Yeah. Because, I mean, if they're fully embracing it, if they're fully embracing the rebuild, John, I mean, they might be a team that's playing a lot of young guys next year, not playing a lot of veterans, getting off Brogdon, Field, Turner, and kind of just prioritizing a lot of minutes for these guys and letting them develop. And that's going to result in a lot of loss to pile up. So I would not be shocked by a season like that.
All right. What are you writing about here?
I'm busy all day here on basketballnews.com. If you guys want to go check it out, basketballnews.com. We're doing a live NBA rumor tracker. I have tracked all the rumors so far throughout the NBA this week, audio, video, social formats. Every single rumor is on there. So if you want to go check out the latest NBA rumors, Pacers, there's a lot of Pacers stuff on there as well. Make sure to check out basketballnews.com. If you want to follow me on Twitter as well, I am at Sidery, at ESIDERY. I tweet all the latest NBA info as well.
All right, buddy. I appreciate you hopping on here, and if you hear anything else, drop us a line, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. Hey, appreciate it, John. This should be a really fun night.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Evan Sidery, Basketball News on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Yep, a complete rebuild. I guess I don't know if I'm not being skeptical because I'm trying to be a jerk. I am. I'm skeptical about it. And, it looks like if that's the direction they go, hopefully everybody tries to stay within reason engaged if that's the direction they go. But who knows? I mean, the one thing that we do know about this is there are a lot of people not telling the truth out there. So you never know what type of intel, what type of information you get that's accurate compared to the mountains upon mountains of inaccurate information out there. So we'll get on that a little bit later on. Tony East is going to join us in the 5 o'clock hour. The official Pacers 2022 draft party starts at 7:30 here at the District Tap on the north side, 82nd Street, brought to you by Corona. Great drink specials. They already are locked in with the great food. And, of course, Darnell Hillman's going to stop by as well. That's going to be awesome. So if you want to see the Pacers make some history for the first time, drafting this high later on tonight since 1989, be here and watch that. Otherwise, I want you to go ahead and dial 239-1070. I know Bradley's on hold. We'll get back to Bradley's call on the other side. Anybody else that wants to jump in here, love to hear from you regarding your thoughts on number 6, the complete rebuild, and what else you would like to see happen as far as this draft and then later on in the summertime is concerned. 239-1070. We get back to your calls coming up on the other side. It's 93.5, 107.5, The Fan.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. The housing market has started to cool, but inventory is still low and homes are selling fast. We need to get you pre-approved today. The Home Loan Expert has lower rates, loan programs for almost everyone, and a 10-day closing guarantee. We can answer all your questions and make sure you're ready to close the deal when that perfect home hits the market. The 10-day closing guarantee, only available at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Sip and save at Circle K with our great new drink subscription. Join Sip and Save today and enjoy one drink a day every day for just $5.99 a month. Enjoy your favorite Circle K ice cold fountain drink, Froster, or freshly ground coffee every day. That's 30 drinks a month for only $5.99. So sip and save at Circle K. Sign up in store or at CircleK.com. Circle K, take it easy.
Hey Indiana, the PGA Tour is in full swing and the best place to tee off is on FanDuel Sportsbook. It's Mark from Kevin and Query, and right now new customers get $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. All you have to do is sign up with promo code MARK. FanDuel is an official betting operator of the PGA Tour, so they have all your favorite bets to choose from. Get in on the action with tournament winners, top 20 finishes, match betting, and so much more. Plus, you can now combine your PGA Tour bets for an even bigger payday. If you haven't tried FanDuel, now is the perfect time to give it a shot. All you have to do is sign up with promo code MARK and turn a $5 bet into $150 in free bets, win or lose. That's promo code MARK, M-A-R-C, exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Must be 21 and over in Indiana. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is knowledgeable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, it's John here for I love to hand out solid advice. And I really love doing it because it's just like right across, what is this, the White River over here? I was going to say the creek. This is larger than a creek. It's the White River. It's just right across the creek here from me. I'm talking about Diamonds Direct. Why am I talking about Diamonds Direct? Because they have an incredible sale going on right now that's going to benefit everybody out there. Because you know you got an anniversary coming up. You know you've got a birthday coming up. You know you got to hit it big with an engagement situation. You want to take the relationship to the next level. You've got to hit all the right notes on this. And where can you do it? It's Diamonds Direct, literally right over here across the creek from where I'm sitting right now. It's an incredible showroom. Incredible. 5 years, 0 interest, nothing down. So you can go big. Now, do more than just imagine the possibilities on this. Stop in and check it out today. 5 years, 0 interest, nothing down. For a limited time, this deal ends on the 30th of June at Diamonds Direct. Get details, directions, and more, DiamondsDirect.com on approved credit. That is Diamonds Direct, Keystone at the Crossing.
O'Reilly. Restore shine and protect your interior with Armor All cleaning and protectant wipes at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, buy 2 canisters of Armor All wipes and get 1 free. Plus, you'll earn double O Rewards points. Clean, shine, and protect with Armor All wipes available at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts or shop online at O'Reilly.auto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Experience the first annual IKEA Midsummer Celebration this weekend. Join us on June 24th to the 26th for food samplings, great offers, and more. And as an IKEA family member, you can save $20 in store when you spend $200 or more pre-tax and scan your IKEA family card. Visit IKEA-USA.com/midsummer for more information and to plan your trip to your local store starting June 24th. Offer valid 6/24 to 7/4 in the U.S. Discount applied proportionally across items purchased as shown on receipt. See store and IKEA-USA.com/midsummer for complete terms. Exclusions apply.
We're the most active season of the year right now, but if you have joint pain, you can't live like you want to. Whether it's heading to the zoo, walking on the canal, attending an Indians game, hip pain, knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, it sucks the fun out of living. I'm Kevin Bowen, and I've got some fantastic news for you, though. QC Kinetics is helping the people get the fun back with advanced regenerative treatments from local professionals right here in Indy locations in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. We're talking regenerative medicine. It's the hottest thing going. It's basically growth factors with healing properties from your own body, highly concentrated, then putting them into your aching joints. It's exciting. In-office, non-surgical treatment can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints, giving you real lasting relief from pain. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in these cutting-edge, all-natural options, and the patient satisfaction reports are incredible. Yes, you can get real relief from pain with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. So call QC Kinetics 463-235-7160. Again, locations in Eagle Creek and Greenwood.
Hey, John here for Love Heating and Air Conditioning. That's Love Heating and Air. I talk about it all the time, right? Your AC, is it doing the job? Because it's going to bounce around a little bit. I think we're going to hit 90 again coming up on Saturday. Maybe a little bit of relief today, but the summer warm temperatures are going to be here. I want you to remain cool and comfortable in your home. 317-353-2141. That's Love Heating and Air. John and Chris Love, the absolute best, making sure that you are comfortable this summer with the hot temps. 317-353-2141. Call and tell them I sent you. Love Heating and Air today. Online, love-hvac.com.
The largest bourbon event in Indiana is back. Big Red Liquor's Bourbon Expo and Rare Bourbon Lottery is Saturday, July 9th, 1 to 4 at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. Tickets on sale now for 400 plus bourbons to sample, plus Rare Bourbon Lottery. Get your tickets now, bigredliquors.com. Must be 21 to enter.
The Mower Shop in Fishers introduces Spartan Mowers, strongest lineup in the mowing industry for any yard, anytime. Find Spartan at themowershop.com and 317-849-9500.
Sports with Dan Dakich.
Rob Dibble.
If Barry Larkin played for the New York Yankees, he would have blown Derek Jeter out.
Right.
And, first 30-30 shortstop, the way that Barry covered ground, the one thing that they said the last 10 years about Jeter, well, he can't cover ground. His range is not that good. Now, it was still great, and he's a Hall of Famer, but he's not going to be a Hall of Famer on Kansas City. He's not going to be a Hall of Famer on the Twins.
Dan Dakich, weekdays noon to 3 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
This will be the high point of my day. It's all downhill from here.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, the official draft party for 2022 is right here at the District Tap. We're on the north side on 82nd Street, brought to you by Corona. 7:30 when this thing all gets started with the draft. Of course, the Pacers draft 6th overall coming up later on tonight. As of right now, we're following the news, so hang with us. We got Tony East going to join us in the 5 o'clock hour for it. Mike Chappell, also on the 5. In case you missed this today, the 2023 5-star quarterback, I think you recognize his name, Manning, Arch Manning. He is committed to play for Texas. He is going to be a Texas Longhorn quarterback. Arch Manning. That was a big deal a little bit earlier today. Yep, at JMV 1070. A lot of you agree with my thoughts on the draft. A lot of you disagree. That's exactly how we need to do that. Ben in Greenwood says, I'm just curious if the Pacers stay at 6. Obviously, I think if they stay at 6 unless they feel the need to move up and try to get Jaden Ivey, which who knows with the way things are going. Sacramento's liking Keegan Murray. The Pistons liking Benedict Mathurin. It's from Sebastian JMV. Murray doesn't seem like a point guard type, but both Murray and Brogdon are really good shooters that are smart but not overly athletic. Thank you very much for that. Scott says, when I watch Keegan Murray, I think about Harrison Barnes. You guys are not making me feel like Harrison Barnes he's just not what you would think about, I guess, career-wise of what you're looking for at number 6. But, I've mentioned Danny Granger before, and some people don't like that either. All right, 239-1070 is the number. Bradley's been on hold the longest. Bradley, thank you for the call. How are you?
Just wonder why don't the Pacers go with a Myles Turner less, smaller, fat?
239-1070. Jerome, jump on here next talking about Kevin Pritchard. How are you?
Hey, how's it going, man?
I am drinking a Corona and talking to you about NBA. It's all good.
At this point, man, I don't trust Kevin Pritchard with the draft. He's stashing these little second-round picks. If you can get Jaden Ivey, and Jaden Ivey has any semblance of a Ja Morant game, you go get him. Because what if he turns into be something that he's supposed to be, and you're holding next-round pick for next year, you turn around and get another Goga? I look at Keegan Murray, and I see a poor man's potentially a Chris Middleton, maybe Billy Owens. When I look at Ben Mathurin, he's got a lot of Anthony Edwards to him, but I'm scared about his height. He was listed as 6'7", but come to find out he's more like 6'4", so are you getting Harold Miner? My other question about Chet Holmgren, we don't need him. He is Mike Dunleavy Jr. with 2 inches. That's it. He's Mike Dunleavy Jr. What I would do is I would trade the 6th pick in this year's draft and the first-round pick in next year just to get Jaden Ivey. And if you get the 11th pick, you get the kid out of Memphis. Myles Turner needs to go. I'm sorry. We've had 8 years of a center. He's not going to get any tougher. He's not going to get any more athletic. He wants $20 million a year. Do I think DeAndre Ayton's a little overpaid to be a max player? DeAndre Ayton kicked Anthony Davis's butt in the playoffs last year and got to the finals. They had a bad year this year, but look at Myles Turner's track record in the playoffs. His Mac Biombo kicked his butt. Tristan Thompson kicked his butt. And you want to get that guy a $20 million extension? He's soft.
No, I'm not talking about giving him an extension, but I have said I kind of want to see him play with a younger group. for the future. I'm not suggesting that's going to happen. I'm not at all. But, again, and you bring up the point, if you're going with what was described as Adrian Wojnarowski, a complete rebuild, then why are you blanking around here at 6? Why are you not trading everything and getting up in the top 3 and getting somebody of complete rebuild substance here? Why are you not doing that?
Because we always do mediocre stuff. He'll trade that pick and get 37 second-rounders, and what's his favorite speech? I can't believe he was there. We don't need to stash any European players. We don't need Dyson Daniels. Seriously, his favorite thing is, can't believe he's there. He's going to be Lynn Dunn. He's going to pull a Lexi Hall.
I'm getting ready. I can't believe he was there. I
can't believe he was there. And he'll be getting high fives. And what'll happen is he'll tell us how this guy, all the other boards had him at number 2. Come to find out, the guy was pumping gas last year somewhere. He's got a speech already made up for it. So I'm telling you.
Hey, Jerome, I appreciate that call, man. You got to call back in tomorrow. Magnificent work.
All right.
Appreciate it. Logan's at 239-1070. I can't believe he was there. Logan, hello.
Hey, JMV, how you doing?
I'm sitting here drinking Corona, and I'm doing this lime thing. Am I supposed to put this down in here, or did I just do something? All right, I'm sorry, Logan. It's beer drinking 101 for me this afternoon. What do you got, brother?
Hard liquor. So I got a question for you, man. What's your thoughts on this proposal right here? So let's say we send Myles Turner to Charlotte, and we get their top 2 lottery picks. And then we turn around and flip one of those lottery picks with Malcolm Brogdon and the 6th overall pick for Jaden Ivey.
Well, that sounds good in theory. It seems like a lot of steps that might seem a bit outrageous, outlandish. But no, I mean, the theory of it, I wouldn't mind at all. I just don't know if the steps can be completed to get anything like that done. But I'd be down with that.
Okay, yeah, for sure, man. No, for real. Thank you, though. I appreciate it.
Hey, Logan, you call anytime. Thank you very much. No, seriously. If you're going through a complete rebuild right now, and if you're looking, I mean, I know Evan Sidery said 2 years. I know Kyle mentioned 2 years to me during the break. 2 years. Probably going to be longer than 2 years. I mean, if you're going to endure 25-win greatness for the next couple of years, and you want to be aggressive, then go for it. Get up there in the top 3 then. Why are we screwing around with number 6 if you get up with it? You want to really completely rebuild? Completely rebuild. Right? Kyle, am I wrong about that? Or do I just sound pissy? I think that maybe I sound pissy.
I think the hope is Halliburton takes another step. You hit big with this number 6 overall pick here. You're going to be bad next year, so you get lucky in the lottery. And then that pick you take next year, maybe top 5, that hits, and then you're rolling. You got 3 top-level players on rookie contracts.
Do you understand what I'm talking about, though? A complete rebuild is not, to me, staying at 6. I mean, if you're really going to go for it, right? I mean, move, current players. Get up to where you can get one of the alleged, reported, described elite players in this draft. Correct?
And they still might. I mean, if Sacramento thinks that they can get Murray at number 6, why wouldn't you trade back and pick up some assets?
Oh, I'm not. Trade up. I mean, get to me, get a guy that is going to, that's when you could go for Chet. In about 5 years, if Chet's good, then you'll be good again too. If you're still around. It'll be great. Dan's up next at 239-1070 on line 4. Dan, hello, how are you?
Pretty good, JMV. Thanks for taking my call. I was just chiming in. I am a big Keegan Murray fan. I appreciate you backing him. I am tired of hearing the water cooler talk and all the homers trying to pitch Ivey when they clearly didn't watch Keegan Murray drop bucket in the Big Ten tourney right here in our own backyard. And small town kid, I think he can do the exact same thing on the next level. If they don't take him, I am done watching Pacer basketball next year.
Well, we'll see. He may not be there. I like him too. And granted, I've seen him more than I've certainly seen Matherin. but I love shooters, and he is definitely that. And I will also say there's something to be described as the jump that he's made. From year to year, I mean, people that suggest, well, his ceiling's not very high, or, the backhanded BS compliment of, well, it's a safe pick. Nah, he made a huge jump from one year to the other. I mean, what's keeping him with a work ethic like that from maintaining that level and continuing to raise the bar? Nobody's ever really told me why that couldn't happen. Why he couldn't continue to get better. Everybody just says, well, he's, it's like he's already like in his fifth year, and this is what he is. I mean, look at the jump that he made from one to the other. Why would you not believe that he could continue to do that? I mean, especially when there's some out there that believe, in this mystery that is Shaedon Sharpe. So you're more apt to believe that than something you have absolutely already seen. I don't get it. Dan, you still there?
I'm still here. I'm right along with you. The guy's a scorer. I think it's exactly what they need. He puts points on the board, and I think it would be a miss if they don't take him and they pass. So I'm very optimistic that if he's there, they'll grab him.
Dan, thank you very much for that. Appreciate that call. That was like my dramatic pause, too. I had to get Dan in there. No, but seriously, complete rebuild? You do a complete rebuild at 6, or if you stay at 6, a complete rebuild is, trading, for example, Myles to Charlotte and trying to get, 2 draft picks, 13 and 15. See, I don't know about you, but I don't think complete rebuild is drafting at 6 and then trading Malcolm Brogdon for the 10 or the 11. I just think that is. But right now, you have something that's not going to fit because you already have that taken care of with Halliburton. So that, to me, I wouldn't describe that as a complete rebuild. I would just describe that as savvy draft work. Maybe the definitions are different than what complete rebuild might mean, for example, the Wojnarowski or others compared to me. Now, I'm completely on board with 6 and 10 or 6 and 11. Eric's at 239-1070. Eric, jump on this show. How are you?
Hey, JMV. Hey, you probably don't disagree with me, but I just think if Keegan Murray is there at 6 and McThorne's there at 6, McThorne's just an above the rim dynamic player, and I don't see how you can possibly take Keegan Murray over him. I just don't see it. Like, I see him and I see Anthony Edwards. I really do, and I think he's the 4th or 5th best player in draft. I don't think Keegan Murray is. That's just my opinion. I want to see what he thought.
You got it. And thank you for the call. I just see Keegan Murray differently than that. I see Keegan Murray as translation now to shot-making ability, and I see his growth in the NBA and adapting, becoming better off the dribble. That's just what I see. I see somebody that's made already one huge jump, and I sit here and I wonder why people don't expect him to be able to adapt and make other huge jumps to improve his game. But people just kind of want to ceiling that out low, and I don't guess I get that very much. At least after not, watching him as much as we did. And I mentioned this a little bit earlier. I clearly have watched him more than I have Benedict Mathurin. And that does play a role. And the same role is played with Jaden Ivey. And I brought this up a little bit earlier. If Jaden Ivey were from Villanova or, from Utah or someplace, maybe you would not be as down with it as others would. Maybe you would consider more in games where he had disappeared. Maybe you would believe more in how the season ended for them in the Sweet 16 against St. Peter's. But you don't, because you have seen him and you believe in him. You believe in his growth, you believe in his athleticism, and you believe in that ceiling being higher. So there's a difference. That does play a role in this. No question about it. So I have a belief in the shot-making ability and the evolution of a game that I think a lot of people underestimate in Keegan Murray. Robert writes this, hey, JMV, you talk about a rebuild and a move up. What are you trading to move up? As you say, you can't rebuild if you trade all of your future assets for one player. No. Listen, trade Myles and put some of these assets together for a complete rebuild. Get up to where you can get one of the top players in the draft. Don't blank around with it. Houston isn't. If you're a complete rebuild, that's like what Houston's trying to do. Do that. Get up and get one of these top 3 players. That can be your centerpiece. One of these top 3 players can help you and can be, all NBA, close to that neighborhood, elite level player in 5 or 6 years. No, seriously. That to me is more of a complete rebuild than staying at 6. That to me is more of a complete rebuild. Like a complete rebuild, I guess, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier. If you want to try to define it, maybe it's different to you than it is to me. Complete rebuild means, okay, you're starting, at the bottom. And besides Brogdon, you want to trade Myles, and maybe there's some others. Maybe McConnell would be involved in something right now. Already other established players you want to move. So I'm just saying, don't mess around with number 6 here then. Go up and get one of the elite players in this draft. That's what I'm talking about. If that's the case. Maybe you can't, but if that's the case, do that. If it's going to be 3, 4, 5 years, then do that. Like, to me, my thing is, if you can put some things together with Keegan Murray, I'm not suggesting they're going to make the playoffs next year. Who knows? Maybe not in 2 years, but maybe you can see a not-so-subtle growth of this team, whereas if you go further down, get rid of some of your established players and really start from the bottom, kind of like what we've seen in Houston. I saw that their general manager had been quoted as saying, you're punished if you're in the middle in the NBA. Then don't be punished. Then go down to the bottom, start from the bottom and build it back up if you got that much time. That's all I'm saying. Quick break, and we'll come back. The official Pacers draft party is brought to you by Corona. It is here at the District Tap on the north side. People are coming in right now. It's great to see you. A lot of people I saw last night at the night of the Fancave. 82nd Street on the north side is our location with Corona. It's 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Make sure you listen to The Ride with JMV this week. He'll give away tickets to see Post Malone at Gainbridge Fieldhouse on October 2nd.
As a Shane Company jewelry consultant, I see so many customers who have struggled to find a wedding band at other stores. When they come to Shane Company, they find the one. Not only do we have the widest selection of unique wedding bands, we are also experts at helping you find the perfect band to complement your engagement ring, even if it's an heirloom ring. You can play around with stacking bands, try contour bands, or just go with something simple. There are so many options. We also have handsome men's bands, hundreds of styles to choose from in every price range. You might have no idea what you want, but we'll take the time to show you different metal types, fits, and styles. You can even build your own with our online tool. And we offer a free lifetime warranty. Come see us and we'll help you both find a band that you love wearing every day. For some helpful tips, check out our online wedding band guide.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Hey, everybody, we've all heard stories from friends and family about something really bad that happened. You're in an accident, there's a painful, life-altering injury, huge medical bills, even wrongful death, all from someone else's fault. Some of you are dealing with it right now. That's where the attorneys of Parr Ritchie Law Firm can help. Tony Patterson, Paul Cruz, and John McLaughlin lead a team with over 70 years of collective courtroom experience and millions of dollars in jury awards and settlements for their clients. None of us can change the past. Just know that Tony, Paul, and John are on your side to help you and your family going forward. They're recognized by Super Lawyers and U.S. News and World Report as being among the leading injury lawyers in Indiana. Even if you're unsure you have a case, give Parr Ritchie a call. They'll listen and give you their free, experienced legal opinion. Call 317-269-2509 or visit parrinjury.com. That's Parr injury.com.
This is Ryan Newman for Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives. I love my family, and I appreciate every moment we spend together. We've talked about some pretty tough stuff over the years, and one thing they know for sure is that I've signed up to be an organ donor. So the next time you're with your family, take a moment and let them know you love them, and be sure they know your decision to be an organ donor. You can learn more at donatelifeindiana.org.
Hey, it's John for Andy Moore Buick GMC. That's 131st State Road 37. It's in Fishers. Let's get you in a new set of wheels. Let's get you a new ride. Let me first introduce you to the best in the business. That's Eric Wilson, to help get you into that new ride of your choice. Yeah, we're talking about the inventory that they have, the price, the service after the sale, which is incredibly important, all leading to the absolute best car buying experience anywhere at one place. Remember to tell Eric Wilson that I sent you to Andy Moore Buick GMC, 131st State Road 37 in Fishers.
Finding the right person for the job isn't easy. Just ask someone who hired a lounge singer to be their office receptionist.
Hello, this is Mickey Marquis, and you've reached the office of Doug & Associates. Thank you very much. Catch me Tuesday nights at the Hotel Johnson. Hello?
But if you've got an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
Doug & Associates, this is Mickey Marquis. Hello?
For expert help with all your insurance needs, visit geico.com/local today.
And now it's Geico's Motorcycle Rules of the Road. Avoid biking in the rain and never touch another person's bike.
Hey guys, look at these bikes. So shiny. Whoops. I'm gonna leave a note. Oh gosh, there's more.
And the rule to saving on motorcycle insurance is, in 15 minutes, Geico could save you 15% or more.
Who will the Pacers select at the NBA draft? Tonight at 7 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
It takes him a second to get on the stool because he's under 5 feet tall.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
I'm John, and I thank you very much for being a part of this show. It is going to be an interesting night tonight, and one of the few that certainly a lot of you younger Pacer fans have ever seen as far as an important night to get it right. And your official Pacers draft party brought to you by Corona. It's happening this evening at the District Tap on the north side, 82nd Street, 7:30. It's underway. Darnell Hillman, an awesome dude, is going to be here. They're going to have great drink specials for you. Of course, I already have to test the waters. If you're watching on YouTube Live, you're watching me drink. Now, I should have gone for Corona Extra Light because I am watching my figure. But I went with the extra right here, and I'm knocking that back. I guess I did. I put the lime. Yeah, I kind of did that wrong, I guess. I should have put it down in there. But I didn't. I'm enjoying it, and you should too. Join us here. Get a lot of folks going to be here. Get a lot of stuff happening coming up at the 5 o'clock hour. If you're listening, hang out because Post Malone tickets, your chance to win those when you hear a Post Malone reentry. That's October the 2nd at Cambridge Fieldhouse. Post Malone will be here. I'll give you a shot at those tickets. Thank you very much for listening every day. Therefore, I give back concert tickets. Post Malone is coming at you a little bit later on. Hey, did I hear this accurately? Is Bruce Hornsby in the Range playing up in Westfield tonight? Did I hear that accurately? See, I kind of dig on Bruce Hornsby in the Range a little bit. And I guess coincidentally so, Bruce Hornsby and Rick Carlisle, I think, are really good friends. But I think it was Query that had told me that Bruce Hornsby was playing at Holiday Park tonight up in Westfield. Is that true? Just curious. That's like 5 or 6 really good songs. I dig. The Way It Is, Every Little Kiss, Mandolin Rain, Long Valley Road. I got at least 4 right there. I can dig on that. Somebody said that was happening coming up later on tonight, too. All right, anyway, quick break and we'll come back. If you're on hold, I'll get to you, Chris. I see you there. Mike Chappell is going to give us a bit of a reflection on somebody that he covered for 6 years here back in the 1990s. Tony Siragusa passed away at the age of 55 yesterday. I tried to describe to you how much he meant to an organization that had been nothing but floundering up until the end of the 1995 season. and we'll go over that and that reflection with Mike Chappell on the other side. Tony East with some last-minute draft stuff as well. We'll keep you updated. It is the home tonight of the 2022 Pacers Draft Party, and that's official, brought to you by Corona, District Tap, 82nd Street, north side of Indy on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Who's it gonna be?
Produce Jaden Ivey.
You would think Jaden Ivey wants Indy?
1980s basketball, then don't draft Jaden Ivey.
Keegan Murray mentioned that he has met with Indiana.
Keegan Murray, to me, feels like a brand new, loaded, with all the options, Honda Accord.
Jabari Smith.
Mathurin feels like he could be a Jaguar.
Chet Holmgren. Paulo Banchero.
Who's next to wear the blue and gold? Find out tonight on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Shout out to Connecticut Water. Not only is it the absolute best water, but they sponsored my segment last night in the Fancave, and thank you very much, John and Joe, for doing just that. Also, helping you out here to get the best water, Connecticut, in your home. All you have to do is pay them a visit, and keep in mind, you're going to make sure that your system has the correct amount of salt, and you don't no longer have to write it on a calendar to remind yourself. What you can do now is get the Kinnick Salt Monitor at half price, and then it will give you messages directly to your smartphone and tell you when it's time to add a bag of salt. I just went down and checked mine in the basement this morning. I need to add a bag of salt. I also need the Kinnick Salt Monitor, and so do you. Half price. Mention my name right now with my friends at Connecticut. Northeast side Castleton, south side US 31, Southport Road, the Connecticut Water app. Download that right now to your smartphone or device or online, ConnecticutIndy.com.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. Mortgage interest rates have started to drop, but you need to get locked in today. And at thehomeloanexpert.com, our rates are over a quarter point lower than the national average. We don't just talk about low rates, we have them. Maybe you've been holding off on that cash out refinance. Don't wait any longer. Now's the time. Visit thehomeloanexpert.com, home of the 10-day closing guarantee. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Dave Matthews Band Live.
Crazy, I'm thinking just as long as
this Friday and Saturday, Ruoff Music Center.
So much to say, so much to say, so much to say, so much to say. You and me together could do anything, baby.
Reserve seats on sale now at livenation.com. Part of the Coors Light Concert Series.
The Sundown Gardens 4th of July sale, June 25th to July 3rd. 20% off container shrubs and perennials, 30% off all items in Miss Mary's Gift Shop, 186th Street and Spring Mill Road.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
Soccer Saturday between Indy 11. If this is your football, this is your show. Saturday at 9 on The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
I got nowhere else to go.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The District Taps our location, north side, 82nd Street. Corona brings the Pacers 2022 draft party to you, 7:30 tonight. That's officially underway. I'm in charge of bridging the gap. I feel confident that I'm doing that in a solid way. Hey, by the way, Jake Query had told me, we were talking a little bit earlier today, he had told me that Bruce Hornsby was playing tonight at something called Holiday Park. Forgive me, Holiday Park around Westville. The only thing I know is like Grand Park. I just figured it's up there by that winery place where everybody goes. Just guessed. But, in fact, J-Law sent me this. Bruce Hornsby is playing tonight. Is this accurate? The Vogue? The Vogue Outdoors, what is that? Rock the Ruins, the Vogue Outdoors is where Bruce Hornsby is. I dig 80s Bruce Hornsby is all right with me. So apparently that is where Bruce Hornsby is playing tonight, just to make sure we get that all accurate. Meantime, Tony East, bottom of the hour. We're going to get you updated on all the rumors that are going around still. 10 and 11, Malcolm Brogdon alleged rumors floating around. Keegan Murray being liked by Sacramento and ownership. Benedict Mathurin really being liked by the Pistons, too. So those are two things that would be worthy of watching, among other things. Charlotte trying to deal get rid of Gordon Hayward and his contract, and maybe 13 and 15 as well. It appears NBADraft.net that former LC and Indiana State standout Jake LaRavia, according to NBADraft.net, is up in the mid to late 20s in the mock draft. That's as high as I've seen him in any of these mock drafts right now. So we'll see if that happens. Blake Wesley of Notre Dame and South Bend Riley is in the neighborhood of the early 20s, according to NBADraft.net and their mock draft. All right, we'll get back to all that in just a second. Chris, I'll start with you coming up on the other side. But every Thursday we talk to Mike Chappell, and I thought it was even more important this Thursday to hang in there with it, even with the draft going on, because of the news yesterday and the passing at the age of 55 of Tony Siragusa. And who better to talk about that and reflect upon that and his 6 years here in a Colts uniform defensively than Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59 on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Hey, Mike, I talked about this at length yesterday. Most of those years were the Colts team not any good, but he was a part of that group that provided a springboard that gave a 3-week taste of what it's like to be successful in the NFL to an Indy Colts fan base for the first time ever.
Yeah, I go back and look at those formative years, and I always thought that, like, trading for Eric Dickerson gave him national attention, a national image because of who he was. And Goose sort of brought personality to the team that sort of was just kind of wandering, because anyone who was around Goose just knew that he was personality. There was no filter, none. He was as raw. He was Edgerrin James before Edgerrin, because there was no filter, and he said what was on his mind. And I think what's sometimes lost when you talk about Goose is that he was a pretty good player. I mean, he was a pretty good tackle, and sometimes that got overshadowed by his bluster and his raw way of talking with the media and all that. But you're right. I went back and looked at him. Keep in mind that they really hadn't done much, and then 95 gets here, and they just caught lightning in a bottle. I mean, it was one of those where they were this close to the Super Bowl. They were. I keep saying, if they make one play in the fourth quarter at Pittsburgh, one play, you can name. There's 3 or 4 plays that, had they gone the other way, they win. Lamont Warren, 3rd and 1. He picks up the first down, the game's over. And Goose was part of that. That defense was like tied for 7th in the league, and it was 4th in scoring, and it was just good. And what's funny about that, they went to San Diego and had the major upset, and then they went to Kansas City, and when it was like, a zillion below zero, and Goose didn't play. Goose stayed in the hotel room because he was sick. He had a temperature, whatever, he had the flu, whatever he had. And then they go to Pittsburgh and came that close to doing it. So he was really on the forefront of helping establish something. He was a leader in his own right, in his own way. So, and I just can't tell you how many times we sat in that locker room. And back then, so many times in November, December, as a beat guy, you're in there, and you have to write every day. And when they're losing and they don't want you in there, and we don't want to be in there, but Goose was always one of those guys that had something to say, even if he had nothing to say, if that makes any sense. So he was quite the character. And remember, he came here as an undrafted rookie out of Pitt.
Yep.
So it was really fun looking back. And I realize most people probably nationally associate him with the Ravens in the Super Bowl, but he got his start and really started things here in Indy.
He had contractual squabbles at the end, and I guess he didn't like the new coach, Lindy Infante, nor Bill Tobin, correct, at that time?
I don't remember all that, but it's funny, we were talking with last week or a couple weeks ago about when was the last time the Colts had a holdout, with the Kitty Moore situation and all that. And I was thinking like Ray Buchanan, but it was in that Ray Buchanan and Tony Siragusa time Randy Dixon, were guys held out. But yeah, Goose sort of he lets you know where he fell on things. And I don't remember who he liked, who he didn't like, and all that. But you know, in '96, after '96, he's gone. He goes to Baltimore. So whether there was friction with Tobin, I can imagine that. And Lindy, the only thing I would go on is Marshall Falk didn't get along with Lindy either. So if that's the case, it was probably a lot of players who didn't see eye to eye with Lindy and Fonte. But you know, if you were on the wrong side of Goose, he lets you know about it without any question at all.
So Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59 joins us. I made the point yesterday. I guess Gronkowski, Rob, would have been the closest to a character of the game that would be in modern-day NFL. And this, simply put, there are no more Dick Butkuses or Conrad Doblers or Art Donovans. And Goose was certainly one of those, and that's just something we don't see any longer, characters of the game in the NFL.
Well, and that's why it worked when he went to Fox as a sideline reporter.
Yeah.
I mean, and he was so far ahead of his time in that. Because he was just being – it's not like he went to school to be an announcer or to be an analyst. He was just being himself. I'm not saying he was like Pat McAfee before McAfee because, you know, Goose didn't have all the assets or the options that Pat has. But he was perfect for that. Because you know, they'd switch to him on the sidelines, and he's probably having beer and brats with fans. Because that's what he did. And it was just natural. If he had gone to some kind of a school to try to refine himself, he would have lost what he was and who he was. So, he was that throwback guy that, you know, you see that somebody put out NFL or somebody put out a video of him doing his goose dance. And that's him. That's who he was. He played for the crowd. He played for the media. And like I say, sometimes as a beat guy, you're in there every day in the locker room, every day. And he'd wear you out because a lot of times, again, you've got nothing to write about, so he's just talking. But he always held court. He was always loud. He was generally obnoxious, but that's just him being him and a Jersey guy. So, I tweeted, some things happen and you just never forget them. But we were talking with him one night or one day in the locker room, just about nothing. I mean, really nothing. And he's holding court around 3 or 4 of us, and Clarence Ferdinand walks in, and Clarence just talks. He's walking by himself, and he's talking. You know, they called him CNN because he talked 24/7. Well, Goose is holding court, and here's Clarence comes in and starts yapping, and it bothered Goose because, you know, Goose was holding court. So he flips over one of those dirty towel bins, and he stuffed Ferdinand inside of it and sat on the bin, kept him underneath it, and he kept talking. And that's just how he was. He wanted to be the center of attention a lot of times, and we let him do it because he was so good at it. But it's like I said, he brought a personality to the team at the time that they're just, you know, he and Clarence Ferdinand were the talkers and the personality guys. And at the time, they needed that. They needed the attention. And then for them to get on that run in '95, if you can only imagine what it would have been like to make that play against the Steelers and go and beat Dallas, which was really beatable. And if the Colts make that one play and get to the Super Bowl, they win it. It would have been one of the great stories of all time. And Goose would have been the ringleader. Harbaugh was captain comeback. Goose would have been the face of the franchise during that time. And again, I just hope people can appreciate what he was, both off the field, on the field, locker room. And he was – there was a lot of bluster to him, but he was just really a nice guy.
So Mike Chappell joins us. I mentioned this, too, and that run at the end of the 95 season was basically a 3-week window. And you almost – living through that – I mean, by the time you realized and pinched yourself and said, my God, this is really going on, it was over.
Well, and I'm trying to look here. Who did they beat in the final game of the season? Was it Miami, like 10-6 or something?
Was it New England? Maybe
they beat New England 10-7, and that got them in.
Yeah.
And then they go and they're double-digit underdogs all the way through, and that's where it just got to be. I can't, they go to San Diego and Falk's their guy, and he has a knee issue just bothering him. He has one play and he's done. And then Zach Crockett goes out and gouges them. And they go to KC and they just find ways. And Lynn Elliott misses field goals, and Blanchard hits one, and Floyd Turner has some big plays. And it was just one of the, like you said, you're thinking, holy cow!
Yeah,
look what they're doing. And then it was over so quick when Aaron Bailey, as he says, I didn't drop the ball. It fell off my stomach.
Yeah.
But we were on the field for that, and you thought he caught the doggone thing. You really did. And then you see the replay that, he didn't get it. But it was that magical time that few teams get on, and it was fun to be a part of it. It was fun to watch it. I keep going back and saying, if they make that one play, Coriat has catches an interception, whatever, I'm convinced they win a Super Bowl that year, which would have been incredibly unexpected.
Yeah, I think about that all the time. Zach Crockett against the Chargers in the wild card round, and then the frozen snow and Lynn Elliott's lack of kicking efficiency in Kansas City is incredible.
They in Kansas City, in the paper, they put out what do they call it? Wasn't grief count? Maybe it was grief counselors for fans to go to the next day, because the Chiefs had their plans all set to go to Pittsburgh, or I guess it would have been. I guess the game would have been in Kansas City, but it was one of the biggest upsets that the NFL has seen. And I always remember that Harbaugh would say they'd come off the field and they'd go over to get some Gatorade. And it was frozen. It was that cold. So it was one of those times where one play could have turned things around, and they just got on a roll, and it took strange things to happen for them not to keep it going. But again, I go back to Goose was in the middle of it, and
Mike Chap. Yep. Did Mike disappear? Is he still talking? Mike, are you still there?
I'm here. I hear you. Go ahead.
My bad, Mike. Mike Chappell is from CBS 4 and Fox 59 on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I think I cut you off. Go ahead and hit those last 10 seconds again. My bad.
No, again, what they did, and they needed part of what they did during that stretch was almost they willed themselves to do things, and Goose was like that. Again, he wasn't there in Kansas City, but so much of what that team did, they just got hot. It's just one of those times when you just get hot. I'm sure you've had these times when you're shooting hoops.
Yeah.
You just can't miss. I mean, you're in that zone. Maybe you don't have those times. I don't know. But everything they did was right. And, again, we went to Pittsburgh and double-digit underdogs. Cordell Stewart doing this, that, and the other, stepping out of bounds and touchdowns. But it was such time. And it's so cool that Goose was in the middle of all that. And it was even better that then it's funny that his career involved the two Colts/Baltimore. That's his legacy, as he played for the Colts, and then he goes to Baltimore and plays. And then he finally got that Super Bowl and he was part of a historic defense for the Ravens. And that's why I say, as much as people remember, the clownish Goose, he was just on this side of an all-pro tackle. And people need to remember he was a pretty good player.
So Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Mike, it was sad news yesterday. Not only was he, a ground establishing, this is what happens when you win in the postseason type of guy around here, but Sopranos for 4 episodes. You mentioned Fox on the sideline. and one of the characters of the game, in which we just don't have any of those any longer. Tony Siragusa yesterday passing away at the age of 55. Mike Chappell on his reflection of that via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Mike, I appreciate it more than you know, and we'll check in coming up next week and talk about the Pacers draft tonight.
On the Pacers, one thing real quick. The last time the pro team here had a number 6 pick, they got a transitional guard. So what's going to happen tonight at 6?
Well, I have said all along it is going to be it'll be Keegan Murray. I think the problem you're going to have, it'll be either Mathurin or Murray if they selected 6, whomever does not get drafted before that. Yeah. And I guess it also depends on what the Kings and the Pistons end up doing collectively. But I'm guessing it's going to be Murray. The point that I made, Adrian Wojnarowski had a report yesterday that the Pacers are all good for a complete rebuild. And my point is, if you're going to do a complete rebuild, then trade some of those assets you have right now and get your ass up in the top 3 or top 4 and get one of these so-called alleged elite players. And nothing against, I like Keegan Murray a great deal, but if you're really in a complete rebuild, get up there and get one of those top 4 guys.
Jaden Ivey, would he be a guy you'd go for?
No, well, yeah. I mean, he'd be probably 4, and then either Jabari Smith or Paolo Banchero 1, Chet Holmgren 2. So yeah, I mean, he would be around 4. But yeah, if you're really going to do that, get up there and do it. And I've said this, Mike, and you've been around sports and this market forever. How long do you think Pacer fans will show interest in a lengthy rebuild like this?
Well, we've already seen the interest waning, unfortunately. And if you do a complete rebuild, it's kind of tough to suck it up and do that. But, they've done such a great job of being relevant for so long. Not so much the last few years. But if it's time to blow it up, like you said, don't half-ass it. Do it. And then you're either going to win your fans back or you won't, but at least you're swinging for the fences. And I'm really curious how they do things because it's hard. It's hard to rebuild it a little. It just really is.
I completely agree. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with that. I said that a little bit earlier. And part of it is, I thought that they were going to try to put something together and, obviously go for 6 and then build off of that and see what you can do maybe to expedite the whole process of, getting good, becoming relevant, and, growing, that brand back up where they're expected to be. But no, seriously, if you want to do it like Houston. I mean, go bad early and move up and get one of these elite level players. Get somebody on tier number 1 as opposed to tier number 2. I'm happy with number 6 and Keegan Murray in tier number 2, again, allegedly. But, if you want to go and rebuild big, go big and get up in the top 4.
I think the fans will be more interested in that than they would be sort of status quo and doing it piecemeal. But I think they're ready for a strong push. And we'll see how these guys go. It's really interesting to see. I'm glad I'm not involved with it. I'm glad it's hoops and not football.
Agreed. Mike, I appreciate you. We'll talk at you next week.
Sounds good. See ya.
Yeah, Mike Chappell, CBS 4 and Fox 59. Hey, Kyle, was that delay on our end or his end? It was on our end? Are we delayed right here? Substantial delay? Uh-oh. I'm going to have to start thinking when I'm talking. Wow. All right, well, I'll keep that in mind in our next conversation, which is Tony East, and we'll talk about the NBA draft and more coming up on the other side. Hey, the official 2022 Pacers draft party is here at the District Tap. And indeed, as Wesley just asked, hey, are you at the District Tap on the north side? I am on the north side at the District Tap, brought to you by Corona. As you can see me right now inside the lounge via YouTube Live. I've got one right in front of me, and I did it right with a lime. I stuffed that bad boy right down in there. There you go. Join us here. Darnell Hillman's going to be here coming up around 7:30 or so. That's when the draft party is officially underway. 82nd Street, north side of Indy, the District Tap with Corona on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
This is a call to the self-starters. to the self-made and the self-sufficient. It's time to declare a new kind of independence. Because Edelman Financial Engines is here to provide tailored investment solutions for your kind of wealthy. You should expect more from your wealth advisors. Our investment management approach is based on Nobel Prize-winning research, and our planners don't sell products to earn commissions. And because we're here for those who question the answers, we model more than 38,000 securities, so we can better stress test your portfolio through thousands of scenarios. So no matter where you're going next, see what we can build for you. Call 888-899-4450. That's 888-899-4450. Or visit efewealthplanners.com to get your complimentary financial plan. Edelman Financial Engines. Built for those who built themselves.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. The housing market has started to cool, but inventory is still low and homes are selling fast. We need to get you pre-approved today. The Home Loan Expert has lower rates, loan programs for almost everyone, and a 10-day closing guarantee. We can answer all your questions and make sure you're ready to close the deal when that perfect home hits the market. The 10-day closing guarantee, only available at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
We're the most active season of the year right now, but if you have joint pain, you can't live like you want to. Whether it's heading to the zoo, walking on the canal, attending an Indians game, hip pain, knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, it sucks the fun out of living. I'm Kevin Bowen, and I've got some fantastic news for you, though. QC Kinetics is helping the people get the fun back with advanced regenerative treatments from local professionals right here in Indy locations in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. We're talking regenerative medicine. It's the hottest thing going. It's basically a growth factors with healing properties from your own body, highly concentrated, then putting them into your aching joints. It's exciting. In-office, non-surgical treatment can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints, giving you real, lasting relief from pain. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in these cutting-edge, all-natural options, and the patient satisfaction reports are incredible. Yes, you can get real relief from pain with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. So call QC Kinetics 463-235-7160. Again, locations in Eagle Creek and Greenwood.
Hey, it's Johnny for CarX, your 14 Central Indiana CarX locations to serve you. It's Joe Childers running locations, by the way. Maintain that summer road readiness, $99.99 for a package that includes so much. Coolant exchange, oil change, synthetic blend oil change, new wipers, and so much more. And by the way, if you're thinking about you need an AC inspection, they can do that for you as well. Just $19.99 right now. Joe Childers run CarX locations in Central Indiana. Simply put, they're the best. To maintain that summer road readiness, which means summer travel vacation style, at your 14 Central Indiana CarX locations. To find the one nearest you, it's online, CarX.com today.
My name is Kayla Sinders, and I work for Gleaners Food Bank. I am a local service manager for 3 counties in our 21-county service area, and I nominated Katie.
And I'm Jiffy Lube owner Steve Sanner. At Jiffy Lube, we are proud to support Hoosier charities that use their vehicles to do more to make Indiana a better place to live.
My name is Katie Wilkerson. I pick up at the mobile food pantries. The best part of volunteering to hand someone some food and see the smile on their face, the relief. Without my vehicle, there's no way I'd be able to do this. To go to any of the pantries, it's at least 18 miles.
Jiffy Lube of Indiana provides all of our Do More winners with free vehicle maintenance for a year. Because now at Jiffy Lube, our trained technicians do more to keep vehicles like theirs and yours on the road. Brakes, tires, batteries, and more. As well as Indiana's favorite oil change since 1985.
If you know a volunteer who impacts your community, nominate them today to receive a year's worth of free vehicle maintenance. Just click the Do More tab at JiffyLubeIndiana.com.
The largest bourbon event in Indiana is back. Big Red Liquor's Bourbon Expo and Rare Bourbon Lottery is Saturday, July 9th, 1 to 4 at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. Tickets on sale now for 400 plus bourbons to sample, plus Rare Bourbon Lottery. Get your tickets now, BigRedLiquors.com. Must be 21 to enter.
Who's it gonna be?
Produce Jaden Ivey.
You would think Jaden Ivey once Indy.
1980s basketball, then don't draft Jaden Ivey.
Keegan Murray mentioned that he has met with Indiana.
Keegan Murray, to me, feels like a brand new, loaded, with all the options, Honda Accord.
Jabari Smith.
Mathurin feels like he could be a Jaguar.
Chet Holmgren. Paulo Banchero.
Who's next to wear the blue and gold? Find out tonight on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Collect them, trade them, or just enjoy them.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, the official Pacers draft party for 2022 is brought to you by Corona. It is at District Tap, North Side, 82nd Street. Thank you for joining us. I see a lot of familiar faces last night that were involved in a night of the Fancave. The first ever at the Indiana Historical Society. It was fantastic. I got to thank everybody that showed up last night. Brent Halverson and Heaven Hill Distillery with the Larceny Bourbon Lounge was absolutely outstanding. Thank you very much. Connecticut Water, that is John and that is Joe for sponsoring my segment where I may or may not have shown a couple of boobies. I don't know. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Somebody might have seen some boobies when I was doing my segment. Not sure. Anyway, thank you, Connecticut, for being a part of that. Forum Credit Union was the title sponsor, and there's no way in this world I could financially do anything whatsoever without them. Shout out to Forum Credit Union. Love you. And the great folks at Michaelis, too, were a part of that, too. Thank you, Michaelis, on what was a fantastic night last night at the Indiana Historical Society. We got a great night coming up here tonight. 7:30, the official Pacers draft party. 7:30, Darnell Hillman and more great Corona specials. They've already got great food. See, my fam right now, the kids, both Lenny and Blake, are digging on cheeseburgers all the time. So I'm going to put the District Tap to the kids' cheeseburger test a little bit later on. See what they think. Going to do it. We'll be here. 7:30, the official draft party for the Pacers underway. Your calls and more on the other side. Your chances coming up near the top of the hour. Post Malone tickets October the 2nd. Gamebridge Fieldhouse. It's your opportunity to win those. Listen to win coming up. Meantime, Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline. You've heard him before, and he writes and does a great job of covering all aspects of the NBA and, of course, the WNBA as well. Forbes Sports, WTHR.com, Locked On Pacers. Tony East joins us. All right, so if Adrian Wojnarowski is accurate, correct, and this is an A-OK for a complete rebuild, right? Correct. Let's start right there. If that's the case, should the Pacers just go ahead, throw everything out there, and try to get up to that so-called elite level in the top four with a complete rebuild and try to get somebody up there? What say you?
I think they absolutely should try to. It's what they're really thinking. I mean, this draft has been long considered that four-player draft, and those four guys have the best potential, the best chance to be the franchise-altering talent. If a team is truly going through a rebuild, those future assets don't matter as much, right? The star that you can now, or the potential star that you can now that fits around your team. And a rebuild also suggests you want to be patient. And in that case, needing those future assets isn't as important. Trading them to go up and get your guy seems like the move.
So do you think that happens tonight?
I think it's certainly a possibility. They had contact with Keegan Murray and Jaden Ivey, two guys who look like they could up the Pacers spot. So it's certainly something they'll have to consider if they are going to full rebuild.
What do you think happens to Brogdon tonight? Is he traded tonight? Do they wait? Does Myles get dealt? Or, as some have speculated, maybe later on this summer? I don't know why later on this summer makes any sense, but whatever. All good. Do either, both, neither get dealt tonight?
I think Brogdon has the better chance of getting traded, as has been floated by several people several times. He plays the same position as their new franchise cornerstone. He's outside the key age range of their key players. Hasn't played very much. Averages less than 50 games played per season since the Pacers acquired him. It makes a ton of sense that they would be looking to move on from him. This is the time to do it when teams, have the cap space, have the resources available before they spend it all on free agency. I think there's a good chance he could get moved. Myles Turner is not as clear. Like you said, there's a chance if they can think about an extension or want to see how he fits with Halliburton. Maybe they decide to do it later in the summer into the season, maybe. But I think there's always a chance. He's always in trade talks. And if the team finally commits what the Pacers are looking for to get him, perhaps this could be the night it happens.
Locked On Pacers, Forbes Sports, WTHR.com covers the Pacers. Tony East talking draft. Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline. How logical might it be for the Pacers to be able to draft at 6 and then move Brogdon for 10 or 11, which would mean a deal, presumably, with either the Wizards or the Knicks?
I think that makes a lot of sense. You know, when Kevin Pritchard, if you'll remember, right after the lottery this year in May, the first thing he said after the Pacers ended with the 6th pick, or one of the first things he said was, this reminds me of, 2006 in Portland, when they ended up with the lottery pick and making some deals and swaps, and they had one lottery pick, and then they ended up with two. They ended up with both Brandon Roy and LaMarcus Aldridge that year, and he remembered that right after the lottery ended. So he clearly thinks about how his team can move, how he can get the best assets out of a lottery, and if that for the Pacers this year is picking at 6 and then trading for 10 or 11 or moving up and then doing that, whatever that is, it sounds like something he's comfortable with and that he's done before. So given the rumors that are out there, given how Pritchard operates, I think that makes a ton of sense, and it would be a great way for the Pacers to lean into that rebuild that Woj has described.
Do you believe in the rumors surrounding the Pacer interest in John Collins?
A little. I've talked about this with a few people. Like Kevin Pritchard's trade since he became in charge of the Pacers, what he likes to get is young guys who are under contract for a long time. Oladipo, Sabonis, Halliburton, LeVert, Corey Joseph, T.J. Warren, they all fit that M.O. And that's exactly what John Collins is. He's 24. He's very good. At least 3 more guaranteed years on his contract. Right? That's exactly the kind of player or the style that Kevin Pritchard likes to get. It makes sense in a small market to try to get those guys when they become available. So if the Pacers had interest in him and that rumor's out there, I don't know if I've seen it yet, but that would make a lot of sense given the way that Pritchard has targeted guys in trades before, and he would fit very well with the roster that the Pacers have and the lobs that Tyrese Halliburton can throw. He's so bouncy. So that would make a lot of sense to me given what we've seen from Pritchard in past seasons.
Well, and I don't know how much stock I put into that because I also saw Malcolm Brogdon's name tagged to it, and I mean, I know we'd all be excited about seeing Brogdon and Nate McMillan together, but I don't know how excited they would be.
Yeah, that doesn't make much sense for Atlanta. It would take a lot. I think it would take much more than just Brogdon to get John Collins.
Yeah, probably so. It's Tony East on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. All right, what's your assessment of the possibility of what Charlotte's trying to pull off? Shedding the contract for the next 2 years of Gordon Hayward and then maybe parting with 13 and 15. Does that type of situation make any sense from a Pacer standpoint to you?
Yeah, Charlotte's a fascinating team in this draft because they can't take 2 rookies. There's no way. They took 2 rookies last year, James Bouknight and Ty Jones, and those 2 guys couldn't even get in the rotation because Charlotte had such a crowded team full of vets and young guys. There's no way the Hornets can pick 2 guys in the first round this year without making other moves. And so that's why I think they're a hotly targeted team in some of these talks is it makes a lot of sense for them to trade one of these to either free up space for some of their other young guys or clear some salary so they can re-sign Miles Bridges. So if that takes a top pick and Hayward to clear some money, maybe that's what they do because they need to shed those spots so they can actually field their team. And so from a Pacers perspective, like Hayward probably doesn't have a ton of value to them right now since they're trying to be a younger team and maybe headed towards a rebuild for a couple seasons. But if you can get a really good pick for your cap space, as they would if they did a trade like that, that makes a lot of sense to me. That's a good use of space and a good way to potentially get another lottery pick out of it. Now, if Turner's in the deal too, you'd probably want a little more as the Pacers, right? Hayward's due a ton of money the next 2 seasons. He's been hurt like crazy. But if you can get assets from the Hornets to make it happen, I think that makes a ton of sense for both teams, given where they're headed.
You cool with them dealing Myles Turner tonight?
Yeah, now's a good time to do it. Draft night trades are typically a good way to get high value out of a guy, but I think he would fit well with Tyrese. Their defense was terrible without Myles last year. He's been really kind of underrated as an impact guy for this team for years and years. I mean, it makes sense that now would be the time to do it, but I think that there is also a lot of value in keeping him and seeing how this team looks with him out there. He's still only 20, so could grow with them or could be traded midseason. So I don't know if it's the right time, but it does make sense if they decide to do it tonight.
So say it louder for the people in the back. What was the Pacer defense like without him last year? I didn't hear that. What was it again?
I think after the All-Star break to the end of the season, they had the worst defense in the NBA, and he didn't play a single game in that stretch.
Dog crap is what Tony East is trying to tell you right now on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Listen, and I thought with that group too, it's like these guys look like that they could play defense. It just was like that they didn't really want to, and that was kind of problematic. I guess the other way that you look at it as well, as far as Myles being there, Myles not being there defensively, I guess it depends on what you want to do. Would you classify a complete rebuild if Myles is still a part of this team going into the start of the season?
Yeah, I think you still could for two reasons. One, he's, again, only 26 years old, so you could consider that young and a part of a young core. Like, he's only he's less than 20 months older than Chris Duarte. Like, they're not that far apart in age, depending on how you want to use age or years in the league as your barometer for what a rebuild is. But, yeah, I think that, if he's on the team, you could still count it as a rebuild. He could still be dealt midseason. He's only got 1 year left on his deal. It's not like they're stuck with him or he's this negative piece as a part of a rebuild. And he's the only guy that's, been with the Pacers since they had any sort of playoff win, right? He was on the team against that Cavs series a few years ago. So there is some value in having that bridge and that connection. I think, again, if you're going to do a full rebuild, it does make sense. There is some sense in moving him now. But, I don't think it signals anything that they're not going all in on a rebuild or their plans are off. If they don't deal him, they could go both ways with him. He's kind of an interesting kind of point for this team tonight just because they could go both ways.
Hey, Tony, a lot of points have been made regarding, the injury situation and, being concerned if you do keep him around. And, we kind of consider, all right, keep him around, see what he looks like, and then if you want to trade him at the trade deadline doing that. People are concerned because of his recent injury history. I have asked this, and I'm curious your thoughts. Do you think that he would have been back if they wouldn't have sucked so bad last year and there was really no reason for him to come back? What do you think?
Yeah, I think he would have played down the stretch of the season. I mean, we heard a lot of that kind of stuff, like T.J. Warren was a full participant in practices at the end of March, and they shut him down. And, Brogdon and McConnell and Turner were all, kind of slowly returning. And I think Turner probably could have played if they were healthier, if they were playing towards an important goal, a game that mattered at all down the stretch of the season. But there was no point of rushing him out there. I think his injury was, a big man foot injury is never good. There's a reason he missed a lot of time. But I think if they needed him to return at the end of last season, he could have done it.
I wondered the same darn thing. All right, in closing our conversation, Tony, who's it going to be at number 6 tonight? To me, if you stay at 6, it's as easy as just it's either going to be Mathurin if he's there or Murray if he's there. That's to me. What say you?
I think, Ivey, Murray, Mathurin, and maybe Dyson Daniels is the name that sneaks into this conversation. One of those 4 guys, 2 of them pretty much guaranteed to be available. I think Mathurin will be there at 6 if they want to go with him, and Dyson Daniels would be a good pick as well. But if one of Ivey or Murray falls, you got to go with that guy.
I got to tell you a quick funny story before I let you go. So Ryan Carr was on with me a couple of days ago, and I was trying to squeeze out of him exactly if what Bob Kravitz had written was true about, the Pacers' glowing assessment of Dyson Daniels' workout, one, if not the greatest they had ever seen in their time there. And, of course, he wouldn't tell me. And I said, all right, then, well, who's the greatest workout, pre-draft workout you've ever seen there? His answer was Marshawn Brooks. So I had to laugh. I'm sorry at that. I had to laugh. I thought, okay.
Apparently don't mean a ton, right? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And really, without saying anything, it kind of told us all we needed to know, honestly. So it was funny. Marshawn Brooks would be the greatest that he had ever seen there.
That's who the Pacers should target in free agency, right? I'm sure Marshawn Brooks is out there and available these days.
Hey, speaking of which, one final quick thing. How active do you think they will be come free agency? Because, once this draft is over, it's going to be a quick minute, and then free agency is going to fire up. Anything going on there?
Yeah, usually all the chatter for the Pacers these days is about free agency, but the draft is so much more important for them this summer. Look, I think their free agency will be much more about what happens tonight. If they trade some vets and make a ton of draft picks, they won't have that many roster spots to sign guys, so I don't anticipate them being big players in free agency, but maybe if they hold on to a vet or two, they could be a team that, makes some noise and signs a young guy or two come July 1st.
What's the percentage you think of the truth being told in all of these reports and rumors going down right now?
Low. I would say low. Yeah, it's a lot of smoke screen season these days.
I'm very skeptical right there with you, buddy. I am, Tony. Tony East, Locked on Pacers, WTHR.com. Forbes Sports is where you can find his work there. We'll check in and see what work they do later on tonight with you here relatively soon and fire off some opinions about what they did and if it's good or not. So I guess you just get it done and see what happens. Tony, I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for having me again, as always.
So Tony East on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Let me take a break, and we shall return. Did you know that the District Tap on the north side, 82nd Street, is the official Pacers draft party tonight? And I'm kind of like the warm-up act here. I mentioned a little bit earlier, if you watch the film Almost Famous, I'm like Stillwater to Black Sabbath right here. Right? That's kind of me. Yeah, I'm like Bowling for Soup opening up for Nickelback. That's me right here. I'm bowling for soup. And then Nickelback comes your way at 7:30 tonight. The official 2022 Pacers draft party brought to you by Corona. Yeah, the Corona is flowing right now. You can get it. Great prices, and they have great food. My fam is going to put the cheeseburgers, because they apparently are huge cheeseburger connoisseurs. They put, here's the bar. My kids' bar of cheeseburgers, Five Guys. What will they say? Will the District Tap be above or below the Five Guys? We're going to find that out coming up later on tonight. All right, your chance to win also coming up for the end of the show. This is 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Who's it gonna be?
Produce Jaden Ivey.
You would think Jaden Ivey once Indy.
1980s basketball, then don't draft Jaden Ivey.
Keegan Murray mentioned that he has met with Indiana.
Keegan Murray, to me, feels like a brand new, loaded, with all the options, Honda Accord.
Jabari Smith.
Mathurin feels like he could be a Jaguar.
Chet Holmgren. Paulo Banchero.
Who's next to wear the blue and gold? Find out tonight on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Dan Dockich's annual Tom Dockich Memorial Golf Outing presented by Franciscan Health is on the schedule and set for July 18th. Go to 1075thefan.com/events for details and tickets.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. Mortgage interest rates have started to drop, but you need to get locked in today. And at thehomeloanexpert.com, our rates are over a quarter point lower than the national average. We don't just talk about low rates, we have them. Maybe you've been holding off on that cash out refinance. Don't wait any longer. Now's the time. Visit thehomeloanexpert.com, home of the 10-day closing guarantee.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Hey, it's Johnny here for the Aurora Sleep Clinic. I got to give a shout out to a couple of former Hoosiers. Did you know that our good friend, the lefty from Terre Haute South, Brian Evans, was back in the 90s Big Ten Player of the Year? So he heard me talking about my snoring, my struggles with sleeping, my hijacked bed rest. So he and another former Hoosier basketballer back in the 1970s who was fantastic out of Silver Creek High School, that being Steve Green, they went to work at the Aurora Sleep Clinic to help me get that bed rest I was looking for. They told me about a very easy and affordable device. You wear it at night. It's a mouthpiece. And you know what happened? It stopped my snoring. I get incredible bed rest now, and I thank them all the time for the work they've done for me. If you struggle with snoring, or you know somebody that struggles with snoring, let's do something about it. The Aurora Sleep Clinic today. StopYourSnoreNow.com. That's StopYourSnoreNow.com. If you're sick and tired of yourself or somebody you know or love that struggles with snoring, do something about it. Log on and get that private consultation today. StopYourSnoreNow.com.
Hubler has all the top brands: Chevy, Buick, GMC, Ford, Acura, Honda, Mazda, Nissan, and more. And every new vehicle includes a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Looking to sell your vehicle? We'll pay you top dollar, even if you don't buy ours. Take it from Brooke Hubler.
You can get a car anywhere, but you can only get a warranty like this at Hubler. 10 years, 200,000 miles.
Visit drivehubler.com.
Hubler has it all.
Warranty available on new vehicles except certain models, not transferable or available on leases. Copy of the warranty is available for review at the dealership.
Hey, it's JMV at Race Trash Service. They're all about protecting the environment while bringing cost savings to you. Natural resources are going up in price, and landfill space is disappearing. So Ray's is committed to preserving the Hoosier environment and serving Central Indiana with efficient, cost-effective, and responsible waste removal and recycling solutions. They're one of the largest recyclers in the state of Indiana with customer rebates on paper, cardboard, and so much more. Visit Visit RaiseTrash.com to see how they can bring recycling solutions to your organization.
This is Ryan Newman for Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives. I love my family, and I appreciate every moment we spend together. We've talked about some pretty tough stuff over the years, and one thing they know for sure is that I've signed up to be an organ donor. So the next time you're with your family, take a moment and let them know you love them, and be sure they know your decision to be an organ donor. You can learn more at donatelifeindiana.org.
Hey, it's JMV here for John and Chris Love. That's Love Heating and Air, 317-353-2141. I would not trust anybody else with my cool and comfort in-house and making sure that my system is running efficiently. If you feel as if yours isn't, 353-2141. Get that checkup from John and Chris Love at Love Heating and Air, making sure it doesn't cost you money and you remain cool and comfortable. Love Heating and Air, 317-353-2141 online, love-hvac.com today.
Jimmy Cook in for me tomorrow. He will discuss tonight's draft, and he'll break it down better than anyone possibly could, including me. Jimmy's the best. Join him tomorrow, noon to 3.
The Ride with JMV.
Awesome! Totally awesome! All right, Hamilton.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. Thank you very much for joining us. Hey, shout out to everybody, too. Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Inside the Lounge. I don't know what you're doing today with no J Law in there. J Law, are you in there right now? Are you inside the lounge right now? Are you? Awesome. What's it look like with me holding up this menu and reading it while I'm on the air? Is that cool? J Law is live inside the lounge via YouTube Live right now. He's going to come over and show this to me. And in case you don't know, this is YouTube Live, the lounge. Oh, yeah, that is me right there. Well, look, we'll see what the delay is. There it is. Hey, say something really nice. I have not found out how to send out messages here, so say something really nice from me to everybody else. That's awesome. Well done. It should be easy to do. So J-Law is here. This is where we are, the District Tap on the north side, 82nd Street, and this is the official Pacers draft party of 2022. 7:30, it's officially underway. I'm the warm-up act, and I am proud to be that. Pacers rocking number 6, as we know right now, and we'll find out who that is. I have said this: if this is what Adrian Wojnarowski suggested yesterday as a thumbs up from ownership, complete rebuild, then I'm trying to think. Morgan Freeman played Dr. Joe Clark in a great film in 1989 called Lean on Me. Remember what he said to Sam's while on the roof of the school? If you're going to do it, don't blank around with it. Just do it. So in honor of the great Dr. Joe Clark and Lean on Me in the film Morgan Freeman back in 1989, hey, if you're going to do a complete rebuild, don't blank around with it. Just do it. Trade up there and do it. Trade up there and get an elite top 4 player and do it. It's the best analogy you're going to hear all day right there, by the way. Post Malone tickets just went out. Somebody's going to win those. By the way, Post Malone's going to be at Gainbridge Fieldhouse coming up on October the 2nd. I believe last time Post Malone was in town, he dined on East Washington Street at the Olive Garden. I believe so. But Post Malone, that again is coming up on the 2nd of October at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. You know, it's interesting. I see a lot of people rolling in here with Purdue gear on. So everybody is fired up and ready to see where Jaden Ivey goes. So, yeah, Pacer, get up in there. Kevin, if you're listening right now, Chad, Ryan, if this is a complete rebuild, if this is true, get up in there and get it. Get up in there and get you some tonight. I don't think they'll do it, but should they? Again, if you define, depends on, I guess, how you define complete rebuild. But that's certainly how I would define that. Again, thanks to everybody last night for showing up at a night in the Fancave. Great time. Our sponsor, spectacular. Brent Halverson is great. Brent Halverson is fantastic during the Larceny Bourbon Locks and Luna Azul Tequila shots every Thursday during the NFL season. Great last night. The Larceny Bourbon Lounge, I saw everybody taking part in that. Shout out to Connecticut. That's my friend John who was there last night. Love John. Love John. Love Joe. Friends in Connecticut sponsored my segment. And we also got into it with a great deal of Forum Credit Union greatness, too, helping me live my financial dreams, because without them, I would be completely and financially clueless. Thank you, Forum Credit Union. And Michaelis, the fine people of Michaelis as well. All right, Kyle, who are they going to draft?
I'm going to say Matherin.
I'm going to say Murray.
I hope it's Ivey,
If you're going to do it, do it. Trade up. Trade up and do it. Kyle says Matherin. I say Murray. Hopefully we have one or the other or somebody they draft on the show coming up tomorrow. We're back in studio. Thank you, Pacers, Corona, the District Tap, Sienna, Riley, Gavin, my man, Cam, Kyle back in the studio. Tomorrow at 3, we'll talk about this with you.
Who's it gonna be?
Produce Jay Knight.